Song 5, Kenzie sits on Harris's lap. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to day 3 of the ImPERium x Hate Gaming League €500 prize pool tournament. We're into day 3 of the finals. My name is ImPERium, and I know you might be thinking, wait, whoa, what is ImPERium doing on Professor Tarzan's channel? Firstly, I don't know what I'm doing half the time as well, so, you know, I'm with you there, but I am, of course, with the one and only Professor Tarzan, so, you know, you might be thinking, wait, what's going on? Don't worry, don't change the station. It is as expected. How are you doing, Tarzan?
I'm doing great. Hey, how's everyone doing? A bit of a switch up. I think
Yeah.
it will add some flavors to it. And, you know, always up to try something new. So, yet you're not mistaken. This is my channel, and ImPERium is the main cameraman. So, trying some new things as we go. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, pretty much. From a bit of a genuine point of view, as part of wanting to help Tarzan be a better caster and work with him in that regard, it's always important that it's much easier to guide him if I'm in the position of, let's say, controlling the camera and essentially setting the flow of things. But either way, things are, of course, going to be going down. We're in today 3 out of 4. I've already said it, but by God, we're halfway through. Let's have a look, Tarzan, at the overall standings and see how these teams are looking into tonight's 4 games.
Yeah, it has been crazy. I think I yelled a bit too much the past 2 days. So many clutches, so many comebacks. And I think that one team that I'm really looking at and looking forward to see them play tonight is Hate Gaming.
Okay.
They got like what 4 points on the first day of finals. And
Fair.
look at them.
Yeah.
Third place
Yeah.
after just yesterday. So consistent through yesterday with one chicken dinner, and I think the rest of the 3 other games as well. Top 3, solid finish for
Wait,
them. Good kills. Yeah,
that means they scored 85 points in 4 games, Tarzan.
that is mental. That is absolutely crazy, especially with this new point system. That shows a lot
Yeah.
of consistency as well as frat counts. So they are hitting double digits, I think, in at least 2 of those games. So that is just absolutely
Brilliant.
crazy, and especially from a bad night as well. You know,
Yeah.
teams don't just get tested for their knowledge, their skills, but their mentality as well. The ability to
Big time.
bounce back, so important.
For me, it's not how hard you fall, it's how you get back up. That's the way I look at things, and I know that Unicorns, a lot of our team who had a bit of a rough day in yesterday's games, to the point where they've fallen down in 7th place. Day 1, when I did look at the games and I casted a final 2 with you, they definitely showed a lot of strength. The one thing, in my opinion, as an observation with Unicorns of Love, is that they tend to be a little bit inconsistent. So I do hope that across the 4 games tonight, that they don't necessarily grab a chicken dinner, but they have the 4 kind of, solid 8 to 15 point games, top 3, top 5 every game, just to really, in my opinion, solidify themselves as one of the top teams coming into tomorrow's final day.
Definitely. The other team to watch as well, other than Unicorns of Love,
Mm-hmm.
that needs to preserve that consistency would be Qodex, I think. And they've
Fair.
got some strong showings on day 1, but we've fallen off just a little bit yesterday. And we want to see them do good. Another one that has in a similar situation would be Fazer Clan. So that would
True.
be another team that I want to look at. And but
Hmm.
let's hold on to that point, because I think our players are ready in the lobby.
Yeah, we are going to be getting into this game in a short while, and with all due respect, we haven't talked about the leaders of the finals right now. We haven't been given them their due respect, and that is indeed Rexpect Esports. They are currently holding on to the top spot. They have 108 points in total. That is about a 17-point lead over 2nd place. This team are evolving day after day, tournament after tournament, and we're seeing it right in front of our eyes, Tarzan.
Exactly. So Respect Esports is when we talked about Fazer Clan and the other team's consistency, Respect Esports showing us how to do it. They constantly pull up in top 5 with some decent kill counts,
Yep.
even when they lose maybe 2 players early.
Yeah.
But that is something that we need to see them improve on. And I think given this playing path as well, we will see them getting to the comfortable drop location being Novo itself. We have this playing path in our game 1 tonight to day 3 of the finals from the Povka towards that western side of the military island.
Of course, everybody in chat, throw the love, throw the support out for who you are cheering on for. I want to hear it. I want to see it because I know for a fact that it does make a damn difference. So we'll have to wait and see. This playing path, as you did mention, is going down quite southerly, a little bit from the southeast over to the south, very heavy southwest. So for any team that wants to go towards George Paul, Gatka even, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit tougher. You might have to drop down early, grab a vehicle, and then make your way over there.
And that's the time for teams to adapt. I think this first circle
Fair.
is going to pop before they hit the ground. So that would dictate a lot
Fair.
of this early game. We will see how they rotate. If they want to go to, for example, I know a few teams who likes to go to Severny, right? We've seen, who was it? GSG? No, I think it's Warlords who head towards there. We've got a few teams who like to head towards Georgiapol as well. Will that be the plan? If we've got a southern circle, will they grab those vehicles to go north, then come back south? That will take a lot of time. They may lose the priority to those key spots in the phase 1 circle.
Above all, everybody seems to be, you know, well separated on these early drop spots. So I was thinking might be a little bit fearful for Unicorns of Love, but for Romanian Men have dropped down on their normal drop spot, which is by the coastal line of that mainland, looking pretty good on that 2-1-1 split for now. Panda going for a nice, lovely split drop between Primorsk and Ferry Pier. Nothing to be sniffed at there. And we do see this phase 1 popping up, Tarzan. It is pretty complimentary to the playing path. However, it is a bit of a pain because there's quite a good bit of military island in play.
Exactly. We've seen this total circle for a few times now. I think 2 days ago we had the same circle, and we talked about those early rotations, right? Look at the number of teams in the circle right now. Will this be the risk that they want to take? Will that be the decision to go towards their favorite drop spots? Seems like Panda has an answer for that. They love Primos. They are going to Primos, but they will have to come back in. Also looking at Respect right here, we've seen them being very conservative around that eastern bridge for this type of circle. They will hover around the southern side still and just waiting for the absolute necessity to cross to basically make that move. So it's very excited to see how they play this. They should know that Too Easy is sharing that southern island with them as well.
Oh man, Unicorns of Love do indeed go to their split drop around the Gaka region. It's relatively close to the entrance on the western side of the phase 1 circle. Qodex are going to be split between school and apartments. The current second place team, only starting as a 3-man team, Wait, Lucy and Fowler, but considering their second place overall, I wouldn't be surprised if they can extract a solid result as a 3-man team in today's game 1.
And the other team of trio that we have tonight is Too Easy, and they had some strong showings, but yesterday they had quite a few troubles in Erangel in particular. They don't quite know, whether they should fight in the open. Some small mechanical or team formation mistakes as well when someone's trying to push up, the cover fire is not there in time, etc. So with a trio as well, it might be a bit harder to show that, but I do believe with this caliber of play, these players can definitely clutch it. They can make it move, they can make it work, and especially if for those who are watching yesterday, we saw Alicia with the 1v4 in Severny yesterday, and let's not forget about that type of action. Hoping to see more of those tonight.
Oh man, it's all quiet on the western front for the most part in the early stages of this phase 1, and I think it kind of makes sense because these teams have been playing, against each other 4 games a night for the last 2 days minimum. So they should be a little bit more familiar with each other. They should be definitely far more aware of each other's drop spots, rotational paths. So it is only just recognizing when phase 1 is a little bit more complementary to you rotating earlier, or whether you need to adapt a little bit and rotate slightly later and thread with a little bit more caution as you enter into this phase 1.
Yeah, and we're just looking at that center circle right now. We know what these teams like to do, the spots that they like to take. I think farm will be pretty congested. That northern farm part on that plateau is one. The south 2 shelter around that lumber area. And Milta itself will be another pretty populated area, I'm going to say. And I'm going to make 3 points right here for 3 potential locations of a potential fight, I should say. Qodex is rotating now. I was going to say between them and Hate Gaming on rotation, there could be some clash. The second one I'm looking at is around that Eastern Bridge. You see how 2Easy is rotating towards that actually, and Rexpect are also approaching, at least with Bardock, to scout. And the third one would be all these teams still outside of the circle on that western part of this phase 1 circle. They can clash with each other as they are coming in as well.
Warlords now rotating across from the Lakonostra Power down towards the coastal line. Might be coming a cropper against one of the Pain team players, or they could be looking to avoid them completely. Dale is going to get a couple of shots fired up at him. He's not going to take too much damage, but he is going into the open loving arms of Vic. His wheel is going to get blown up, so that's going to force him to exit that buggy for now. At the end of the day, the members of Warlords are somewhat split up. However, Lubomir is going to get knocked down, so it is a little bit of respite for the members of Warlords as they try and find a little bit of an area inside this phase 1 that they can call home. Mooney is going to confirm that kill onto Lubomir, so great response from the side of Warlords. It's going to be counter knocked by Vic, who's in a further position closer to that eastern bridge. And what do you make of that rotation that came up from Warlords? And also, what do you make out of the position that has come out of Pain in the early parts of this game?
I think Warlords is doing a rotation that completely makes sense, and
Okay.
but it's a bit scary knowing that there's a team that could be in Milta. Going for that coastal rotation is pretty textbook,
True.
but also dangerous. The
Yes.
side of Team Pain, though, I think with them knowing this current circle, they have set this up to choke the teams rotating. We can see Vic's position. He's in prime spot to keep an eye on that eastern bridge, as well as stopping the side of Dale and Backfire to use that coastal line position. But of course, the mistake has been made. They didn't need to lose that one. If you are setting up that trap and you're getting not just not, but finish, that is something to work on for sure for Team Pain.
A little bit of a fight breaking out between Rexpect and 2Easy down on the military island. Reflect did get knocked down from Rexpect, who are really high up on towards that radio tower. Split up for now. Caster is knocked down, but he'll get revived up indeed. Looking on over, we've seen Lakonostra did get a knockdown, and I believe a confirmed kill onto one of the members of Arcred, and they want to push this forward because holding on to the logging hills is so difficult when you have a number of teams around you, so they want to stop as many teams from accessing this area as possible. Alicio is going to get dropped off the back of that. It was not a confirmed kill onto one of the members of Arcred. He was revived up, so it is still a 4-man team of Arcred as they look to disengage away from that. I'd say even though Alicio got knocked down, I think Lakonostra have done a little bit of a solid job of separating the members of Arcred. An initial knockdown onto Koteka, but Senzo's going to be exposed up. He's going to get confirmed down, and that was a great response that came out from Mandarin.
I think Arcred did a very beautiful thing there that people don't realize is to provide that cover fire when your teammates are essentially driving away. That itself is a bait, but that is also the type of mentality that you need to have. That is Arcred making it through, doing that cover fire, and eventually getting to a better spot than the Lakonostra as well. And but look at this response.
Man, Lakonostra need to get their grip together and somewhat join up as at least a two-man team to provide some form of counter knock or just some form of protection, because right now they're surrounded by the four-man team of Arcred. Danny is left on his own. He's on top of those rocks. He's chucking up a grenade towards at least one of the members of Arcred, but I don't think he has full information on where they are, so I think it's a little bit of a... Okay, that's... Sorry, just... I think that's a little bit of just a positional grenade, just try and push back the members of Arcred. He's on his own. I think he has a little bit of cover fire in the background from one of his teammates, but at the end of the day, I have a sneaky feeling that if he gets knocked, he is out of here.
Danny's position is so important. Without that little bit of that elevation from that, I don't think he can keep the rest of his team safe. But that is a beautiful one.
Lovely.
Knowing those position, they would just push in right there. Look at Danny go!
Great.
He will take a beautiful knock on that side, and will be a flush coming through straight away as well.
Fantastic turnaround by the side of Lakonostra Power. I didn't think it was going to work out in their favor, but credit where it's due. It was Inari that got the initial knockdown on that angle that I wasn't sure was going to work. And then Alicio on the other side got that sandwich play and got a second knock. And then Danny on top of the rock came in and they get that third knock. But now it's just Puchok left on his own. He's going to get taken out. And Alicio confirms the final kill and allows the fourth kill for their side to flourish on through on top of the logging cabins. And considering where phase 2 moved up north away from the military island, I really feel that engagement, that fight, that win is so much more important for Lakonostra's late game.
That's brilliant work from Danny. They're using that rock allows him not just the elevation, but the in position to pick up the footsteps as well. And that will be them very happy with that momentum from that squad wipe. Let's not forget that Warlords and the start of Team Pain has been fighting. Backfire's actually lost his life, so that is Warlords down to 3, but not before they took out 2 of Team Pain. Meanwhile, the side of this southern island, Rexpect, let's not forget that Too Easy only got 3 players. They actually got 2 of them killed by Rexpect, and now Rexpect will have that priority and have basically crossed that eastern bridge.
Musket swimming in the water, just try and get a little bit of information on where the one of the Rexpect players are. Reflex on the other side, the second of the 2 remaining Pain players got a kill, has gotten a knockdown on one of the Warlords players in around the Milta train. So I can't help but feel that the side of Pain team are under a lot of stress as there are only 2 players left in the game, are separated quite heavily. Looking on over the positions of the other teams, Panda are coming in from the western side in between New Era and Unicorns of Love. Unicorns of Love are set up really nicely as a 2-2 split on that compound that gives a lot of information around the farm train. So in my opinion, their position is incredibly strong coming into phase 3.
Also sharing the same idea, ImPERium, is Fazer Clan. They are doing that 2-2 split as well on that eastern side of farm. Those main farm compounds can be very strong, catching the rotations from those teams that in particular get pushed away from that mill to main road. And that will be 3 teams holding in that farm position right now. And it seems like every team's got a spot in there, even though Issa has lost 2 of their teammates. He's now a solo. He will be able to make a rotation through that western bridge and now got a spot in the circle as well. So we can see also these teams just concentrating in that area that I talked about in the first 5 minutes of this game. Look at farm, look at south of shelter, look at Milta. That is just the tone and the style of this high tier play, ImPERium.
GSG Europe coming up from the prison/shelter area. It's a little bit risky, but they are relatively untouched for now. And I like the fact that it seems as if they're threading with a bit of caution. Warlords are still in Milta. Yes, ScrimFarm pinched in between 2 teams. Hackshot is the first one from their side to get knocked down. So can they get a little bit of a counter knock to create a bit of space on the Qodex? We'll have to wait and see. Indeed, that revive has come on through, so that 2-2 split inside those 2 buildings. And it's a tricky area to hold on to where ScrimFarm are, because you got a little bit of a dip down the hill by the road where a team is able to full send it with vehicles and then engage in a calm manner onto the side of ScrimFarm. And because there's only 2 buildings in that area, you throw 3-4 grenades into those houses, there's a pretty strong chance you're going to secure at least 1 knock. So ScrimFarm have to stop any kind of team as much as within their power from breaching onto those 2 buildings that they currently hold onto.
And this position is so interesting. Like you said, ImPERium, they can get pulled up from the south side, from that dip. But look at the position of Wait from Qodex. That is the position to maybe just backstab them when ScrimFarm's trying to hold that compound. And that is the importance of the awareness of that cover that you're using. You just need to make sure you use it to its max, to its optimum. And we see some shots here landing onto Panda by New Era as well. The team has not been showing quite a lot, especially last night. They lost 3 games. They only played the last one, but they're here to prove otherwise.
They're going to look to push in on that. Is it a bit too far away to really make something work in that? We'll have to wait and see. 50-51 is going to get another knockdown on GK the first. If they are going to push this New Era, you want to push it as a full squad. K2, so hold on to a rock just up the hill to try and suppress the members of New Era. But at the end of the day, they're looking to wrap around as a full squad around this area. Lovely jubbly as UBL. Gonna push in. Lovely spray with that M4, but no! They're dancing on through. Nearly survived that one, but indeed the knockdown will be confirmed. Gonna take that kill away and put Panda down to a minimum of 3 or a maximum, should I say, of 3 players as that revive has been pulled off.
Exactly. And that is just a good rotation from New Era. They know that window of revive, right? That time window, those 10 seconds, and they just took that time to send the buggies up to this position with a high ground position as well. UBL will just cruise through, and they may just push that single player, and that is Linear getting taken down. It's just the last one standing for Panda right now. Incredible pressure on them. So harsh. And that is him trying to deliver the drop shot.
No way!
Look at him.
GK the first got the second knockdown, and New Era presumed too much. They split up too heavily. They didn't secure the kills when they needed to, and they're gonna lose 2 players along the way. Although it went against Panda, I gotta give credit where it's due to GK the first of taking 2 players away from New Era off the back of New Era's sloppiness.
And look at that. Phase 2, no, like the third circle is this. That's phase 3 about to close in 37 seconds. And look at all these teams already finding a spot except the side of Team Pink. Getting pushed away towards the eastern side of Milta. Hate Gaming trying to make an anti-clockwise right rotation. But we also saw teams having some troubles holding down the compounds at the gear get slowly chipped away. Unicorns of Love got not just now one of their players, but they will get that reset. They will actually get that. No, wait, ImPERium. Oh my god, I'm tripping. That is Unicorns with 4 kills. 4 Romanian men got crashed. They just got crashed and got taken out on that push.
They got absolutely obliterated, so it seems a little bit of a feels bad man from the Romanian side. Much love to them, but nicely executed by Unicorns of Love. Fazer Clan also lost 2 players. I think maybe that 2-2 split wasn't joined up together quickly enough on that phase 3. I don't know exactly what happened, but either way, Qodex did take control of half this farm area as still a 3-man team. ScrimFarm still holding on as a full squad on the eastern side of this map, currently well inside the circle. That's that lovely 2-2 split inside those 2 buildings, but they do still have Warlords down in Milta, along with the final 2 players of Pain.
And this is the good time to look at the minimap as well, right? That split second, if you want to study the game and be better like these players, look at the positions that they hold. They know the absolute limits, the strength and weaknesses of each of these compounds. They all have found themselves a spot, and as we pass that 19-minute mark now, the actions can go crazy from here. Of course, they all got their own spots, so the next circle will be vital to dictate the pace of the remainder of this game.
Rexpect did survive the eastern bridge and have moved into the mainland, near enough to the coastline as a full squad. What I do like is that Bardo is going away from those buildings just to try and grab a little bit of information, because it's important as this phase 4 has popped up. It's shifted down south in their favor. They do look to kind of grab that information. Yeah, okay, the risk is that he could get caught out and get knocked down, but either way, looking pretty good. Great response by Unicorns of Love on that circle shift, instantly rotating into one of the central compounds.
ScrimFarm's also doing the same. They will take one of the sets of very strong compounds on that eastern side. Qodex is now in the area, in the main compounds. Two teams sharing it. I like the position of Barda that you mentioned it. Not only is it good in scouting, if these teams are rotating and get pushed away by a team like Unicorns of Love, they may just keep driving and they can run and crash into Rexpect's compound, and that will allow Barda with the side angle to deal severe damage.
Hate Gaming has Michi knocked down as the two members of New Era did seem to rotate a little bit quicker on that phase 4 shift and move just a bit ahead of them. SL4, should I say, went into the sniper tower, and UBL is down on that low ground dip. What is important for Hate Gaming is that if they are able to get that revive off on the Hate Michi, which has pulled on through, that they look to grab their bones together and secure some kind of position on the edge of the circle. What they might not be aware of, because of slow rotation, is that the compound in front of them is safe and clear, but that's up to them to take some kind of risk. Beast, along with Swave, going to push on forward with both of those vehicles, just to try and grab a little bit of information, threading with a bit of caution. Also, don't want to get backstabbed by New Era, but New Era did full send it in. They took the risk and it's paid off. But now, as they make it into those buildings, Swave is going to pull on forward. He's prone down. SL4 took a little bit of damage, but he is going to survive for now.
Meanwhile, we see Lakonostra coming in through that northeastern edge. Same for GSG Europe, they have established a spot on that eastern edge as well. Warlords holding an edge position as well. The side of Team Pain, though, was waiting for a time to move in with the blue. They will be hanging onto that southeastern edge. And you talked about that risk that New Era took, ImPERium.
Yeah.
It was just like a difference in style between themselves and Hate Gaming. Hate Gaming saw the abundance of car there, and they didn't breach it. New Era was just like, screw it, we'll just send it. Desperate time, desperate measure.
Desperate times, desperate measures indeed. Off the back of this circle, shifting up north in towards the farm train. Hate Gaming, New Era, and Qodex are looking pretty good, but Lakonostra did get a knockdown on one of the Qodex players. The two remaining players of Pain gonna push on in, not quite into the circle, but they're gonna look to grab a bit of information. They do have the full squad of ScrimFarm just across the road up the northern side. What is definitely hard for the teams on the eastern side is that as they edge closer into the circle, it's very much out in the open, and that's where Warlords has lost one of their players. Mooney Rafik goes down at the hands of Fresh Unicorns of Love. Great protection and control being put on by the Unicorns of Love side.
They are in the position to farm this. I think Fazer Clan also has a spot, so that will be those two teams stopping. Teams rotating from the southern side still need to rotate, though, is Rexpect. Although they had a strong start, they don't have a spot in the circle. Same for ScrimFarm, they have to move, and the side of Warlords as well, still on that edge of the previous circle. But the side of Lakonostra now having a different idea. They know it's now or never, and they are now breaching the compound helped by Qodex.
Danny throws out a smoke. Elicio's on the outside of the building by the hailbell. Chucks up a grenade. It is a 2v2, but the pre-fire shot is going to pull on now. The drop shot by Elicio does not work out. He gets knocked down. And now it's Danny left on his own. Qodex comes on through, and there's a reason why Qodex are currently second place overall. Whether or not they're full squad, they made that team fight work in their favor. Nicely done indeed. They still hold on to a position inside the circle. Sway from Hate Gaming with the SLR in his hand was trying to get a couple of long-range shots. Looking on over, pan on way through. We're in the 24-minute mark of this game. The full squad of Unicorns of Love are being somewhat brief, but they are doing everything in their power with The push coming on through. Rexpect is going to go for it. But oh my sweet baby, Lord Jesus. Ked is going to fire on through. Fresh gets knocked down. It's a lovely initial push by Rexpect, but can they make it work in their favor? I don't know if it's worth going for the revive. Nacho takes out his teammate. That's the wrong target, my friend. That's the wrong target, but that's what you get for fighting in close combat quarters and chucking out a grenade. Agon holding down to the bottom of the stairs. He throws out a couple of pre-fire shots that wholeheartedly benefited the side of Unicorn the Lob, but Agon gets dropped, followed by Ked. Fresh is left on his own. It's 1 against 2 or 3. I'm not really sure because the smokes being flying out. Rexpect are doing a fantastic job of covering all corners of the bottom half of this building.
Oh my god. Unicorns, they had such an
lovely, but not enough. Rexpect overtake the compound. They overtake the position in the circle, and they will keep on going in this game. It's a little bit unfortunate. Unicorns Love failed to deliver on that part as they end up in 8th place. Top 7. 18 players left on standing. Swave up as a full squad, but they're going to rotate and shift through from the western side over to the north. To the northern side of the circle. Actually, probably going to full send it. Only one of their players is actually going to make it in there on his own for now, but it is the members of ScrimFarm that is their next targets. Down in the open on the bottom of the dip is a lovely shots coming on through by Icy with the Uzi in his hands. He makes it work. Unique is going to be dropped down, so he's going to be pretty much the only player left on standing. Icy, can you make it work? Can you freeze your opponents? But I tell you what, as we 7 teams left standing, you could get third party from all directions as Beast is going to get dropped to the floor by a fantastic grenade being thrown at by Icy, even though he's on his own. Oh, I spoke too soon. I was just about to give him a compliment, but Swave shut him down 6 foot under.
Oh my gosh, when Hate Gaming made it count, it was the similar title circle yesterday, and they took that win in that game 4. They are here to repeat it, and they also hide themselves from the fire from Qodex, who's trying to stab them from the back. Hate Gaming is still in this one alongside 5 other teams, and we've got 16 players remaining. And
oh, Pappy! Oh no, not Pappy! My Pappy gets dropped to the floor, followed by Caster. The Rexpect side is gonna go down to 2 players, even though I'm trying to pull on some kind of Spanish accent that's coming out as Italian. I'm sorry about that. Boys and girls, New Era, they're a 2-man team, but by God, they just don't stop fighting in this game. They're doing a great job of controlling this position inside the circle. Warlords, I thought they were down and out, but Sans holding on to the sands of time, gets one knockdown onto Lucy. Wait. And Fowler, it's a 1v2, the pre-fire shots, Sans down to half health, and that is it. Qodex gets a kill and gets a squad wipe on the Warlord. 5 teams left standing, 11 players left. It's an open farm ending. There's a little bit of dips, there's a couple of trees in play. New Era are on the high ground, and they're not inside the circle.
And Hate Gaming's also on that edge. Look at Respect and New Era. They don't have a spot. It's just 3, 2, 1. Go. The blue zone is closing. How are they going to breach this? Hate Gaming has the edge position, but their position's known. But look at the other side. That is Fazer Clan trying to join from the side, and that will be New Era sending in at the same time.
New Era pushing on through, using the smokes to their advantage. It's a double knock by SLL4. Oh my God! Talk about violating your opponents. But now, as he's on his own in the blue, the squad wipe comes through. And Jesus Christ, Mary, Mother, Lord, what the hell is he doing to his opponents? Absolutely incredible play by SLL4 as they're up to 10 kills. New Era are in the top 3. You've also got Fazer Clan and Qodex either side, somewhat taking each other out. The knockdown came through on the Fowler, followed by Susie, but Susie got revived up by Jizu. Lucy in the back line, not inside the circle. That is the fear, that is the risk, as he has to try and find some kind of space as he chucks out the smoke. 2v2v1, my friend, or should I say 2v1v1, as we're into our final 3 teams.
that was Fowler doing so much before he went up. But look at the flame into Lucci. Eat that late coming disc. That is the roast onto Lucci, but he has those smokes ready. That is him still living. He's got some first aids. This is a type of circle ImPERium that they just need to rely on their senses. Their ears, their eyes, the smokes. Every bit of basic of PUBG Mobile will count right now.
Background of the two-man team of Fazer Clan is somewhat working out, but SWL4 did get a knockdown on Juju, but because Fazer Clan stuck together, they were able to get that counter. But as Lucci is on his own, he recognizes that now is his time to strike pre-fire shots for Susie coming on through. He gets the kill, he gets the squad wipe, he gets the chicken dinner for Fazer Clan.
Oh my god, I tell you what, ImPERium, that last circle or two, Qodex, Fowler got that center position. That is part of the reason why Hate Gaming was under so much pressure. And also Lucci, after losing Fowler, he actually had the mentality right. He saw the kill feed pop up.
Yeah.
He knows it's only 4 of them. He saw 1 kill, he saw 1 knock, and he is ready to push straight away. That's what he's doing. But unfortunately, the pre-fire, etc., this is a matter of seconds, a matter of frames that we were looking at. But Qodex almost made it through to first place with 3 players. 9 kills for them.
Really good effort above board for him. I would say even genuinely, like, I think the top 8 teams, you know, really actually had solid games. I know it's not often you say that, but I genuinely think the rotations, the way they all played the majority of these circles were really well. And Rexpect, I didn't like how they even came across on the eastern side of the bridge, but at the end of the day, they survived as a full squad. That push onto Unicorns of Love, there was always going to be like high risk, high reward, and that high reward came on through in their favor, especially off the back of I think it was Bardo knocking down Nacho or the other way around. So really solid stuff from Rexpect. Hate Gaming, I think maybe could have been a little bit more aggressive. Like, I don't get how they let New Era away, you know, with that, right? Because there was initial knock, and even though they might not have known how many players of New Era were left, in my eyes, when one of your players gets knocked, and I'm all for kind of backing away, but you're going to most likely come across your opponents later on anyway, so why not recognize, wait, we can get the revive, we kind of know where the shots are coming from. They had 3 or 4 vehicles, they should have at least taken a chance to push it. Take a leaf out of Rexpect's book in my eyes, and even though he finished 4th, to me, you know, they definitely let New Era away for it, and then they paid the price.
Exactly. Oh, I just can't even blink right there. That fight between Rexpect and Unicorns, my god, at one point it was 4v1, and everyone has like so much health on Unicorns, and just in a matter of seconds, they're just using those smokes that they laid down before some knocks even came through. They will just clutch that one, and that is Rexpect once again showing strong in tonight. I think with that title finish as well, 7 kills in the 5th place, they are still holding a pretty good spot on that top 1 at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So let's take a look at the standings from this game 1. Fazer Clan, you saw taking the chicken dinner, going relatively unnoticed for the majority of this game, but struck when they needed to with 6 kills. Qodex battling on the eastern, on the kind of farm area for the majority of the game, getting 9 kills. New Era in 3rd, just Golden Goose as a 2-man team. SWL4 and UBL getting 10 kills for themselves. Hate Gaming in 4th with 3 kills. Rexpect in 5th with 7 kills. Warlords in 6th with 3 kills. ScrimFarm in 7th with 2 kills. Unicorns of Love, although they only finished 8th, credit where it's due, they did get a solid amount of kills to perk themselves up there in terms of points standings. Pain team in 9th with only 1 kill. Too Easy in 10th with 0 kills. Lakonostra Power in 11th with 4 kills. GSG Europe in 12th with 0 kills. 4 Romanian Men in 13th with 0 kills. Panda in 14th with 2 kills. And Arcred in 15th with just 1 kill. Looking forward to, of course, how that is going to affect the overall standings. And as we do get ready to go into game 2, we are going to go for a little bit of a short break. But myself, with the wonderful Professor Tarzan, will be back on your screens in about 4 minutes. Welcome everybody back to the ImPERium X Hate League Finals Day 3. We're heading into game 2. It is going to be going over onto Miramar, but what a cracker of a game 1 we had, Professor Tarzan.
Very, very solid. And like you said, a lot of teams with that given position and circle, they did hell of a good job. Like they've done what they're supposed to. Is sometimes is that factor of luck, as always in PUBG.
Hell to the yeah, indeed. I also actually just realized I need to change one of the things, but I can do that anyway. Yeah, so pretty damn good. I don't believe they haven't updated overall scores between each game, so we will have to do a little bit of speculating. But before we go into this second game, let's give the guys, the boys and girls, a bit of an idea of what the overall standings were like coming into today's game. So this does not include the result of the first game we've just had. This is just the scores of the overall standings after 2 days. Oh boy, but as we move into this second game, Professor Tarzan, take us through the playing path.
So this playing path will go from just off the western side of Tor Ahumada through La Trilera towards the side of Valdemar. So it's a slightly of western playing path that will make position like Los Leones a little bit hard to get to. Same for El Arsaha. And we've seen some new drop spots, for example, Campo Militar, like claimed by some teams before. And you know what, ImPERium, you would like this. Panda went to Los Higos. Panda went to Los Higos the past few days, and that will be a very new one. And I always think it's going to be a crazy drop if you are known for dropping there. Then people can just camp you out. And but also, like back to the point about Los Leones, etc. Teams like for Romanian Men that likes to go there will need to make that early rotation, and that bottom right off the map is definitely the quieter phase, quieter area of this game 2 on Miramar.
Arcred going for a Torio Mada drop, and one of the few teams that are on the northeastern side of the map for now. Rexpect seems to be the only team maybe heading towards El Azahar / maybe Junkyard Minas Generalis, or you know they're dropping much earlier, but that's pretty good. So it could be good for Arcred, depending on where exactly they need to rotate, but it could be a pretty solid rotation from them. Pain Gaming, along with the side of Panda, going to be dropping El Pozo. So no Los Higos drop for Panda.
A bit of a new one from 2E's as well. They might have just adapted since they are a trio, and that will be them going off to that very southern drop as well. For Unicorns of Love, nothing new. They like Chumasera and they will just take that one. For Romanian Men, what did we say? They will go onto that main road and still go back to Los Leones by the looks of it. ScrimFarm will be in Picado. The Hacienda del Patron drop coming from the side of Lakonostra. And look at Respect. They just have that consistency in we knowing what they're going to do as well. They want to go to El Arsa, and doesn't matter where the circle is, they will go, and they are already there.
Fowler, Qodex. Yeah, I was just gonna say, just while it renders through, I was wondering if there's a rock in play as he finds those shots. The knockdown comes on through, and the hero for New Era in game 1 has unfortunately been knocked down and confirmed in the early parts of this game through. So it's a little bit of a pepperoni, but that is sometimes the risk of dropping relatively close to the playing path, split up in Miramar, because you know there's not too many really strong compounds that you can split and go to. So definitely not surprised at that. For New Era, I definitely think it was something they could have adapted to with that playing path.
It almost looks like as if they had the plan in mind, but they saw some other teams coming and they didn't have a plan B. They just got pushed away from maybe ImPERium because Fazer Clan is there right now. But lucky enough, the phase 1 circles does complement the playing path. If you drop through the middle phase, of that playing path, you will be fine. As we see this phase one circle on that western side, and they will leave most of the teams very close to the circle. And of course, we still got a lot of middle locations for these teams to grab. Monte Nuevo is open, La Trilera, a lot of hills around there as well. And let's not forget about that plateau around the Power Grid area to the north of Picado. Very strong position still. I think some of these teams will go for it.
GSG Europe dropped around Craterfield area. It's not a bad place to go. It's a bit unusual, but I don't disagree with it. It's going to give them a nice solid rotation onto those strong hills in between El Pozo and Power Grid, which hopefully will give them a lot of information coming into phase 2. The one thing I fear about is right now with the center of this phase 1, Tarzan is relatively flat in places you don't really want to go. So I'm thinking that most teams will hold on to kind of around the mid to edge areas of the circle on these rotations.
It's also down to the fact that Montenuevo was not often grabbed, like for
True.
this lobby, and that is something that they should know as well. So if they are seeing some contested drop around, for example, what a New Era has experienced, losing a player early, they should not be too scared to just go around the Montenuevo area. Multiple positions for them to scout, and they can maybe grab that spot, and they will get some decent, slow looting phase early game as well.
Talking about grabbing spots, Warlords grabbed an early spot in the Minas del Sur area down by the coastline, and they have reaped the benefit by getting 2 kills onto the members of Too Easy, so it leaves just Tika left standing for their side. The good thing for Tika is that he is pretty kind of well inside the circle as phase 1 in the Minas del Val compounds, but nicely controlled by Warlords as they create a good bit of space. They might want to look to rotate up by the La Drillera hills because it's relatively close to the center of the circle and it's high ground.
I feel like this position that is claimed by Arcred is a drop by 4 Angry Men as well, right? Like the PMGC team, and they like doing these type of wide rotations late, make sure they have all the resources. And I'm seeing a little bit of that same style coming from Arcred when they drop on this top right of the map, right? So, and that is a lot of uncontested loot for sure. But how to get into the circle, particularly when it somewhat complements the circle, will be a bit of a hard task. And same for Rexpect, going through, if they want to charge in straight through from that eastern side towards San Martin, let's say, there's a lot of positions there that enemies can take and just shut you down on rotation. So just need to see how these teams make these calls and how they thread the needle, like I always like to say. Meanwhile, we see some of these teams trying to contest some center position, and we see Panda very close to New Era.
Yeah, knockdown comes on through. New Era can't seem to catch a break, losing another player. What I liked about Panda is that they did disengage away from El Pozo unharmed, as did Pain, of course, but now it is still going to be the continuation of this fight, as we do see one of the other Panda players is in a little bit more of a 1v1, and 50-51 is going to end up winning that one. K2 with the Car 98 misses that shot, and that separation by Panda really doesn't work out in their favor completely as they lose one player. But now as XT is going to come on through, he's going to get that knockdown on the 50-51. So it's great return fire and return knockdown, leaving New Era with just one player left standing.
I don't think Panda needs to lose that player though, ImPERium. XT was just round the corner. He was literally 3 to 4 seconds away. That is the type of trigger discipline that we need to look at as well, is in these small skirmishes. The rotations, the formation, that is the time to just hold for a few more seconds to make sure you get a solid kill from that 2v1. But on the other side, we see some other fight, a different type of skirmish, as we have GSG Europe and Fazer Clan clashing on this northern side of the map around the Creative Fields area.
Honestly, like, I just don't get why GSG Europe didn't rotate early, and Fazer Clan were much further away on their drop spot in my eyes. So definitely a mistake that GSG have allowed Fazer Clan to even get close to them in this position that GSG Europe dropped. It's not like there's a hell of a lot of compounds that GSG Europe can loot up in this area. So in my eyes, slow, sluggish start for GSG Europe as they're now feeling the heat against Fazer Clan.
You know what, ImPERium, you talked about how much you don't like Minas Generalis as a drop location, right? I think I share the same type of feeling, but towards Crater Fields. Just look at this type of ground. It's down in there, not a lot of vehicle spawns, and if your position is known, people can just grab 1 or 2 guns and just start driving to these high grounds around. Look at Fazer Clan's position. They didn't even come quick. They came after, what is it, like 9 minutes into the game?
Yeah, I know.
And GSG Europe is still in there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was talking about. So definitely a little bit F in the chat for GSG Europe in that regard. Unicorns Love moved from Chumasera closer to the Ledrillera Hills. Not quite super high ground, but I like the fact that it's right in between that very central low ground area and that very high ground closer to the edge. It's an initial knockdown from Fazer Clan with a grenade onto Levy. So Kamara is going to be left on his own inside that building. Low, who was under pressure. It's a lovely knockdown by Prepod through the window. Kamara gets dropped to the floor and Lau is left on his own for GSG Europe.
That's going to be a rough one. And that is just Lau in there trying to make something work. I think, I know it sounds harsh when I say this, but it's like they deserve it. Like, if you get a spot like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree.
But just leave them for that. They've got another day to prove themselves. I want to see them adapt to this. I don't think it will work out in their favor, especially in the new season as well. Who knows who would be around that area? People just like cluster fight, etc. And we want to see how they can pull out of their pocket later on. And just look at the center zone slightly off to the southern side. We have Unicorns of Love pulling away from Chumasera, and with the new circle popping, they will have a dead south edge. And across the road to them, we have Team Pain, and to the southern side, the side of Warlords is also in the area.
Phase 2 shifts up north. So it is going to be beneficial for the likes of Qodex, who are looking pretty damn good in just basically outside the San Martin city. For Lakonostra Power, 2-2 split is pretty good, but I fear with the circle shifting kind of towards them, they might want to think about joining up as a full squad.
I'm also a little bit peculiar, like, and puzzled by the position of ScrimFarm. Didn't they drop Picardo? And they now actually have to go through the side of Lakonostra, who is holding that Picardo hill. So ScrimFarm is having some trouble right now, as we have Icy almost losing his life. Spectre is already knocked, and they are just clumped around this bit. And if the side of Lakonostra took more control, and which I think they are planning to push this with Danny and Senso from that high ground, and Nori and Alicio is ready to pinch this, and this is not going to be good for ScrimFarms by the looks of it.
Nari pushing on forward, Alicio driving on through. They were a little bit slow to push in on that because that 2-2 split was a little bit further away, but Danny on the high ground makes it work, getting a knockdown on the Icy, but Unique fired on through. Great response by Alicio, and Ali's hackshot left on his own in a 1v3. The foot shots are fired up. He confirms it on the Danny. Great spray as he's down to below half health. He has to pull off a bit of a revive, and as that revive is being pulled off, that's allowing Lakonostra to somewhat recover themselves. But it's a beautiful grenade with that response. Senzo gets the final blow, and credit where it's due to Lakonostra Power. They get that 5th kill. They hold on as a full squad, and that was a really cool engagement from themselves.
It's just really hard to watch ImPERium. Like I said, ScrimFarm dropped in Picardo. How on earth did we only get to that spot at 13 minutes?
I know, right?
Like, oh my god. But that I will leave that to these experienced players to figure out what they can do better, because we know they're a very experienced squad. Let's look at the other parts of the map. Warlords still need to get a position in through Ledrillera, but they are now finally rotating in Respect, they dropped El Azhar, right? No, they dropped to somewhere, drove to El Azhar, and they are now off the western side of Los Leones. Still need to find a way in. Hate Gaming doing a wide rotation, meanwhile, in the anti-clockwise manner, now just off to that eastern side of the main Hacienda del Patron compound. But look at these areas on those middle zones, so many of those hills, and one of the very strong one for sure is the one claimed by Fazer Clan at the moment.
Yeah, it was a position that I kind of recommended for GSG Europe when they first dropped by Crater Fields, but because they were so slow to rotate, Fazer Clan overtook them and have overtaken the spot. So nicely observed there, Professor Tarzan. Arcred have a player knocked down as Pain Team off the back of that rotation from El Pozo to the Ladrillera Hills. Then they pushed on forward because of that phase 2 rotation to the outside of Monte Nuevo. Now they're looking to get a bit of a controlling area by whether they're securing kills or knockdowns onto the teams around them.
And just look at, I just can't help it, ImPERium. Look at the compound held by 4 Romanian men. Okay, in my eyes, that is not a very sweet spot, and I will tell you why. With that type of compound, if you just get found from any angle from that hill that Lakonostra is close to, you just get pinched like crazy. It's so hard to rotate between, so hard to support. You need to burn 3-4 smokes just to cross, but that will be their choice of a compound for this mid game. If I were them, if I had the priority, I would keep one on that hill where the Lakonostra is. And but you know what? That might be sufficient for them in this mid game. But I want to see how they play this, especially if Nasar of Lakonostra finds an angle onto them.
Qodex staying where they are. They have oh boy. Oh my god, Lucy was lucky to hold on to that one, to be fair. But either way, I do like the fact that on this area, Qodex have actually spread out a little bit more compared to when they first got there, because by spreading out a little bit more, not only are they creating a bigger metaphorical bubble around them, but they're grabbing more information as the circle has kind of shifted a little bit closer in that area. And as we do see this next phase pops up, it does go towards the northeast. Hate Gaming are swiping their foreheads and breathing a sigh of relief as they have a very solid controlling area on the high ground outside San Martin.
This sort of hard shift, Fazer Clan would need to really think, do we move now or do we try to farm some kills?
Yeah.
Because they have a very, very strong spot. And that is for them to figure out. For Romania retreating away from that. And seems like Lakonostra is still watching, but they also have some rotation to make so many teams on that southeastern side of the previous circle. Only a minute or so to go. There can be a lot of clash on the southern side.
FaZe Prepod does get knocked down, or Fazer Clan Prepod does get knocked down by Fowler of Qodex. I do worry now that Qodex are a little bit too split up. I would like to see Fowler join up with Lucy and his teammate and just have it as a 3-1 split. But either way, it's working out in their favor now. 4 Romanian men are going to full send it in onto that lower compound. Maybe recognizing that they can do something with that. Rana is going to be in that back line, providing those supporting cover shots as Sushi does hold on to the wall along with Dexter on the other side. Prepod yet to get revived up, but all things considered, Fazer Clan did get a successful rotation down from the high crater field hills. It's a lovely grenade being fired up by Jizu. Does get that knockdown onto Sushi. But the thing is, because Fazer Clan knows the position of Qodex up the hill, they can't actually push that.
And there's also the type of compound that's happening right here for this fight. You need to wrap it up quick. If not, teams will just come in and stab you from the back. And the 4 Romanian men will get that little bit of breathing room with that pickup onto Sushi. But they, in my opinion, they should really just get the hell out of there.
They can't get the hell out of there, though. If they in any way look to move to get the hell out of there, in my opinion, they're going to be more heavily screwed. But we'll have to wait and see. Fair play to 4 Romanian men, after getting that revive, have been able to pull off that disengagement. Only Rana was the one player from their side to get somewhat knocked down by Qodex up on the hills above, but he should be okay for now. Looking at Unicorns, a lot they're going to come in from behind. get a knockdown on the 4 Romanian Men, but Ked gets dropped to the floor. He is the kind of player that does push on forward for his side on his own and sometimes does pay the price for that. But with great support from his team, that revive will pull on through as Dexter and AIM of 4 Romanian Men look to focus onto Unicorns of Love.
Unicorns of Love also under pressure from Warlords, who are rotating behind them. Warlords got more distance to cover. On the other hand, though, Panda rotating in from that western side, moving kind of with the blue. Same for Rexpect Esports, rotating somewhat from the bottom left there. Arcred, although we saw them playing slow early, they found a spot on those strong hills that were previously held by Fazer Clan, and the Team Pain also has a good hill spot they are trying to claim on that northern side.
Hate Gaming just basically looking at all the other teams somewhat and going, you have this. This is ours. But Dexter just go for a completely different direction on his own, and it kind of somewhat will pay off. He does move away, goes into a small building, but as he's the last player standing, it kind of makes sense. The circle shifts on up. It does center quite nicely towards Qodex, and now this is where I really fear for them. They have the only hill that is really inside this circle, and they've got to think there's going to be multiple teams coming around them, whether it is from the north, south, east, or west.
They need to group up now. Like you made that point earlier, ImPERium. This is the time, and they need to find the best dip to get the 360 view, to dedicate onto one area of control, and that is Sarakiri actually taking that advice, whether he hears or not. He's trying to make that rotation, because look at Lakonostra already in the area and can stab Sarakiri in the back. Hate Gaming is also in the position to move, but how far then can they go? Just look at that is a hill, then it's a flat road, so it's not going to be easy for them to play and cross later on.
No, it's really not. Great rotation by Lakonostra Power. I gotta say, that was really well executed from themselves and did push Qodex, one of the Qodex players, away from them and a little bit closer to the rest of his team. So that was really well played by Lakonostra. It's done so quickly off the back of that circle shift. That's Hate Gaming. Talked about them. They have Fox inside the circle, getting a little bit of information. Pain Team have Reflex further back on the hills outside the circle, which I don't disagree with, to be honest, because it's still only phase 4. You can chunk down that damage, that blue zone damage, relatively effectively on phase 4. So I think it kind of makes sense, and he could be the sacrificial lamb as he is coming down from the hill. So it's important that he just does his best to stay alive so he can give that information to the rest of his team.
And this is a clash that we were expecting as well. Look at Rexpect facing the breach from Arcred. Arcred had enough, and they're now rushing in. They didn't have a position in the circle, but they now had the opening knock onto Bardot. Poppy just healed up, and they will now face. Look at Mandarin like a madman running in, and that is another team that is fresh from Unicorns, looking at this fight, reacting to gunshots, and that is Arcred needing to pull this off. But look at Rexpect, too far apart, man.
Let's wait and see what happens. Keg gets another knockdown on the Fowler. You can see the kill feed. Third partying on phase 4 onwards is always going to be a little bit more optional in any game of PUBG Mobile. So as you move, as you look to engage onto your opponents, you got to be damn confident that you know exactly who is around you. Fresh gets a kill on the Bardo. Michi takes down Reflex. That was the unfortunate thing that I was expecting. Reflex, he became the sacrificial lamb for a Pain Team. I think Arcred are doing a great job of not getting caught out by a bit of a third party, as Pappy's just wrapping down on the bottom side of the hill, but as he's running across, he gets caught out, leaving Nacho on his own. Don't peek, Nacho, don't peek, you're fine, you're good, you're still in the north, but I don't know if it's gonna be for long, as Pain are looking for you. Pain are ready to strike, as they have also a position very close to you inside the circle.
Look at that discipline that they need. The Nacho almost paid the price, and right now I think he is in position to maybe take top 5 or 4. Just given his position in the circle, so much fight is going to happen. Look at Fazer Clan still out on the south, Lakonostra on that southeastern side, Warlords behind Fazer as well, and look at Qodex. They listened to us, they grouped out a little bit. Now a 2-2 split, they can farm quite a few on this side. But look at this crash happening right here. From Hate Gaming on to Rexpect. Nacho, I spoke too soon. That is him getting eaten up. Num num, they say. And Hate Gaming finally strikes in this game too.
Arcred doing their best to hold on against the likes of Unicorns of Love. Unicorns of Love are playing the bottom of the hill very effectively by that compound. I think they're pretty much aware of where Qodex are, and they're aware of this side of Arcred, so they feel pretty comfortable of their position right now. The only thing is that the next phase could go against them. Lakonostra Power are going to go up against one of the Qodex players. An initial knockdown on to one of the Lakonostra Onari side, as Onari does get confirmed up. A little bit of it feels bad, man, indeed. And the Warlords, playing on the outside of these circles, are doing a great job of pushing their way in. They have become a pretty aggressive team, all things considered, over the last 5 to 6 months. It's something that I've kind of noticed as they make their way in through with that bite. They're going to push on in. They get another kill onto Lakonostra Power, and it is just Senzo left standing as Backfire, along with the rest of the Warlords crew, are pushing on in, but that blue zone in phase 5 is going to do a little bit more damage. Senzo is not being spotted out. Beast is going to come in, get a knockdown and Backfire, and that's what you get when you come in a little bit too late. You can be as aggressive as you want, but if you get third party, you get third party, and that's exactly what has happened as Qodex finished them off, moving our way in. You got Hate Gaming going up against the side of Pain. Hate Gaming, who did indeed take down the last player, Rexpect, pushing on in when they needed to. They're still up as a full squad. It's a great angle being held onto by Fox, if I do say so myself, but he's got to do something with that, because through those smokes, through those grenades, through the Molotovs, it's been a double knock along with the confirmed kill onto Hate Gaming. So Fox, pull something out of the bag. You have to create a distraction for your teammates.
Especially with the circus position as well. There's only 32 seconds to go. ImPERium, both of these teams are not in there. They are out in the open. They probably are too focused on fighting. Where are the cars right now? These are the questions to ask. Look at the hill. Already they're setting up Qodex as per the last circle or two. But Arcred has already made their rotation as well. And they can be here to stop the rotation from Team Pain and Hate Gaming.
Oh man, Arcred doing a great job in this Miramar game, if I do say so myself. Playing very fantastically on this pitch. You have Unicorns of Love and Qodex going up against each other. That low ground was always going to kind of go against them at some point, as they are getting suppressed by Qodex. The good thing is that they are still at least inside the circle. High ground by Qodex is something that they do have to be aware of, because even though it does give you more vision, a little bit more of your body tends to be exposed as you edge closer towards your opponents down the hill. The circle does shift on up in this phase 6, and it goes over in the favor of Arcred and Qodex, and goes firmly against Unicorns of Love. A little bit of it feels bad, man. There's nothing they can really do, as they're going to have to go up this hill, and it's only going to get harder.
Like we said as well, that is Hate Gaming only swave in the circle, trying to heal Vic. The last one up for Team Pain as well. Qodex is in a position to win.
No way.
Look at that beautiful one.
No way, Pain. Peekaboo, I see you. Vic comes up and takes down one of the players at Qodex. A little bit of it feels bad, man. I can't hate on Qodex for that, because you just don't expect to see it. But, you know, just like you can have crabs underneath the rocks when you're by the water, you gotta have those players in between those rocks in this Miramar game. Arcred have a player knocked down, but that revive will most likely come on through. Definitely benefited by the fact that Vic took down one of the Qodex players, but Qodex can't have their feathers ruffled for too much longer, because they have to focus on this potential engagement with Unicorns of Love, as Unicorns of Love try and wrap their way up the hill, playing on the low ground in this late game, at times does have its benefits, but Ked, he gets a little bit too tunnel vision. He gets knocked down after taking a couple of shots, but I believe it was countered. No, not quite, by Savage X. So Arcred has his 3-man team have occupied the western side of this circle. The play zone takes down Agan, leaving it too late. Savage is not going to go for the revive. Don't go for the revive. Don't go for the revive. Fresh is on his own. Qodex along with Arcred. We're down to our final 14. Fresh is going to feel the heat, feel the power, feel the burn. He's going to get knocked down as Qodex and Arctic are going to clash. One on the high ground, one on the low ground. The M249 squad wiper from Wake is firing on through. He finds Vic, but Vic takes him down. Pain team dealing the pain, dealing the hurt, and allowing Arcred just a sliver of a chance to take this victory. Can the revive be pulled on through as Scorpion takes out a first aid? He is going to go for the revive. Is it too little too late? Or can Vic still be the thorn in the side for any of these two teams coming into Phase 8?
Oh my god, Vic just finding the right time to strike. We've seen what this player can do. He had 11 kills on the other game. On Sanhok, wiping both squads, just trying to strike at the right time. And he is here to maybe deliver again. 7 players remaining, 3 teams. Qodex should be in position to win this, but they can't choke. They definitely can't, and that will be Vic.
Vic going down. He tried to be a little bit of a heavy distraction, and it worked for an extended period of time. But great teamwork coming out between Fowler and Wait, because Wait tried to be that little bit of bait. Then Fowler on the off angle made it work in their side. Blue Zone is about to hit the end of Phase 8. 3 remaining players of Arcred are all huddled into one low ground corner of this end circle. Qodex have the high ground. They chucked out a couple of grenades, but haven't quite made them work. Pushing on in. Wait. Followed by Lucy, looking for that third-person perspective. Great shots coming on through. Lucy finds the first one into Kolia, followed by a second, followed by the third, and Qodex just huddled in at the right time to claim this chicken dinner on Miramar.
What did I say? What did I say about the position? We were harsh on them, ImPERium. We said if they can group up at the right time, this is their game.
Yes.
Look at them go. 15 kills. Qodex is back, baby.
Especially considered one of their players got caught out by Vic at one point. You know, like they were dealing with a number of teams around them. So in my eyes, that level of synergy and strength and core control that Qodex showed out, definitely extremely well played by themselves, and I'm definitely impressed. But Arcred putting on a good showing, coming from the Crater Field Hills to get second place with 9 kills. That is nothing to be sniffed at all. And then Vic from Team Pain, let's be fair, got his team into third, and it was deserved in that sense.
Yeah, and further compliments to Arcred. They were on the edge, ImPERium, right? It's so predictable if they just drive down slope. And they just need to find the perfect time to strike. The second they hear Hate Gaming and Team Pain fighting in that compound, they are sending it. And that is how important to time. That's so important to time your rotations, right? It's not just how, okay? It's time it with respect to all the information. So we have to give them to them 9 kills, well-deserved second place for them. And Unicorns of Love, making it to top 4. So more consistent than yesterday, if I do say so myself.
Yeah,
do you
definitely
have the same idea? Yeah, like but it's just that compound. It's just that compound. Low ground. They won the bet. They bet on it once. It didn't shift away from them for that second last circle, and they should be happy with that one already. But the next one, you should be prepared for that. And whether you still have your vehicles as resources, counting on the smokes, what's the plan for that? And that is just a very hard breach. And as we saw, they just went down to the crossfires from both Qodex and Arcred right there.
For Unicorns of Love, I do think there comes a time in a game where they need to not allow Ked to scout forward, because in my eyes, that's one of their biggest weaknesses late game, if the circle is away from them. Like, you have to be able to actually push as a team. And yeah, they're great in team fights, you know, for the most part, but I think when it comes to that late game and you know you're surrounded by a couple of teams, I think there's a level of, hey, let's just push in one direction as a full squad and hope for the best. If we kind of get third party, we get third party. But because Ked kind of was a little bit on his own, in my opinion, a bit too far forward, he got knocked down. Savagex couldn't respond because of that, and then it was just like a little bit all downhill from there. And then Agam was on the other side, nowhere near, and he got knocked down by the play zone. It was just a little bit, you know, it was as if they didn't know what they wanted to do. And I'm aware that there's always a level of uncertainty when it comes to that late game. You're like, you know, we don't know what to do. But let's be honest, if you want to compete with the best in the world, and if you want to get to that level, you have to know, or you have to stick to a decision, or you have to make a decision and stick to it at that late game and hope that it works out. If it doesn't, cool, at least you can hold your hands up and go, hey, we went for it and it didn't work out. But by dying in the circumstances that Unicorns of Love did in that game, it could have and should have been better in my eyes. But that's just me being harsh with the boys in pink. I have so much love for them. I'm just calling it as I see it. Coming on over to the overall standings of that game. Qodex, as we saw, claiming the chicken dinner, getting 15 kills for their side. Arcred in third with 9 kills. Pain Team in third with 2 kills. Unicorns of Love in fourth with 2 kills. Hate Gaming with a respectable 5th with 4 kills. Fazer Clan in 6th with 3 kills. Lakonostra Power in 7th with 6 kills. Panda in 8th with 2 kills. Warlords in 9th with 5 kills. Rexpect in 10th with 1 kill. 4 Romanian Men in 11th with 0 kills. GSG Europe in 12th with 0 kills. Too Easy in 13th with 1 kill. ScrimFarm in 14th with 0 kills. And New Era in 15th with 1 kill.
Decent game, especially Hate Gaming. Let's not forget 6 games in a row, including yesterday, with some decent standings. I think they've got a good 10 points as well, that one there. So let's not forget about that. And we may just go on that short break now, because we are going to have those jungle action in Sanhok very soon, everyone. And do stay tuned for that.
good grammar and spelling?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to day 3 of the ImPERium X Hate League Finals. That's a €500 prize pool up for grabs for all of these teams that are playing. It's a matter of how close they can get to it. Whether they can get the job done, we'll have to wait and see. We've had 2 fantastic games tonight so far. One in Erangel, one in Miramar. We are heading over to the wonderful jungle terrain of Sanhok. And with me, of course, is the one and only Professor Tarzan.
Hey, I'm still here, guys. How's it going? So, obviously, Bloodline's not in with us tonight. Some of the fans going to be disappointed. And so that's one thing for sure. But we still have a good amount of teams waiting onto one more player. I believe then we are just ready to go. Good game from Qodex just now. Good to see them perform. And yeah, just waiting on for more.
I think there apparently is a... Okay, so apparently there's actually a little bit of a server delay from the host. Agon said it's my fault, but as far as I'm concerned, Agon, it's your fault because you're... It's just you're Agon. It's always your fault, let's be honest. But anyway, while we are waiting to see what the situation is with this third game of the day, let's give everybody a little bit of a quick reminder of the overall standings coming into today's games and how we can maybe speculate a little bit more based on what we've seen in today's first 2 games. Game Rexpect starting today's games in first place, but have they been able to hold on to it? They had a kind of a pretty decent game 1, but the game 2 in Miramar was very lackluster for them. You there, Tarzan?
Oh, sorry. I forgot to
no
unmute
worries.
after that one small bit. I was having a short cough. And
No problem.
so, yeah. We're talking about Lakonostra, do we?
No,
Or did
I was
just
talking about
forget?
Rexpect. Wow, talk about making
Oh.
me feel bad, man. Jesus. Oof. Yikes. But no, Rexpect, I was just saying that they had a good game 1, but their game 2 was a little bit lackluster. And with Qodex winning game 2 so confidently, I kind of can't help think that maybe they've lost that first place.
I think so. Respect, one of the least, the worst game for them, I think, since we
Yep.
had from the first day of the finals. And that is the type of mistake that some of these teams are bound to make, but we are just having high hopes for them, right? From all that consistency, we want them to still show through. But once again, we're back to like Sanhok, another map that they have shown some success in the past, farming a lot of kills, etc. So let's see how they do it.
110%. We have gotten into this game. So we have loaded into the lobby, so to speak. We're counting down the timer on when it's going to start. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, you know, when we talk about Sanhok and we talk about how hard it can be to hold on to the 2 strong area inside this map because of how quickly the circle shifts and how the circle shifts can be, it's not the easiest at times.
With the smallest map, of course, like we always say, the 4 kilometers time 4 kilometers. With this type of playing path as well, going from just off the north of Lakawi towards Tambang, not too harsh of a playing path. That means all these teams can get to their favorite drop spots, and you just need to play it like your enemies can be anywhere. It's a very different type of gameplay. You have to play it very quick. You have to be very aware of the terrains, like we always say, a particular rock, particular tree, and yeah, that will need to be the skill that needs to be demonstrated.
Playing path isn't too bad. It's pretty central. I know it tends not to make a real difference, but if it's easier for the majority of the teams, I feel like it helps to make a settled game 1 a little bit, at least in the early parts anyway. Hate Gaming are going to drop towards Camp Alpha on the northwestern island. Too easy dropping towards the mountainside, it seems. Unicorns of Love going for a lovely spread between Ruins and Tambang. Great stronghold they have pretty much across the northern half of the south western island. So we'll have to wait and see if that works out for them, even though they are spread apart. That does pose a couple of risks. We'll have to wait and see. Arcred in Kampong and Panda down in Camp Bravo. It's nice to see a couple of teams, Tarzan, utilizing the eastern side of the Sanhok map.
Yeah, like this type of drop distribution as well is nothing new for these teams. They've landed for this like the past 2 days as well, similar. And what did we say about the size of the map? Look at it, it's just brilliant colors across the whole of the map. And I also want to talk about Hate Gaming. They fought too easy in Heartin before, and this is an adaptation coming through that I like to see from them. And of course, a lot of early fights as well around the barn areas in the past, and that will come from maybe Fazer Clan, Warlords, and Panda. So it's about them not repeating the same mistakes and making it count this time.
Of course, evolving and adapting is always so important in these kind of tournaments when you're facing up against the teams, against the same teams for multiple days. Phase 1 is pretty good for the most part, majority of the mainland, but there is still a solid chunk of that northwest island in play and about half of the southwest island also in play. So positioning yourself for these teams is going to be a little bit tricky, but once you play it safe, I don't think you'll find yourself under too much trouble.
It's definitely a tricky circle. It looks like it's very, but we don't know which side is going to shift. So I think the compound that we talked about, I think 2 days ago, trifecta right now, where Unicorns of Love pretty close to their going through ruins. If they can take that compound again, that might be a formula to win, because you will get early access to pass any of the bridges according to the next shift, should it happen.
Pain dropped by that compound just near the northern bridge, and they've gone for an extremely early rotation by the hills of Boot Camp, and I think that really sends a message, at least to me, that they really want to control the early parts of this game, and they're ready to prepare for phase 2 and phase 3 with those shifts. Again, it's not easy at times controlling an area in Sanhok because snakes come into play. It's a little bit more difficult to spot teams that are coming close to you, but Pain getting off that early rotation to the center of phase 1 is pretty strong in my eyes.
I think it's a very wise rotation.
Yep.
Where they dropped between that and boot camp, that cliffside is so tricky to play. The later they rotate through that, the easier team like New Era can just come through to western side and just shoot them like in training ground targets, right? So that is a very good rotation from that. I like that adaptation. I think is very wise, and it shows their knowledge of the map.
Warlords and Fazer Clan getting extremely close to each other. What I love about Fazer Clan is the discipline to not take shots from any of the members. They've been scouting the players of Warlords for the last 20-30 seconds, and I think what they're trying to look for is just that one opening to at least confirm a kill onto one of the Warlords players and then react accordingly. For Warlords, for whatever reason, they're not going too close to Fazer Clan, and I think that's very beneficial that Fazer Clan didn't kind of go, oh, we need to get a kill. That they're thinking, hey, look, you know, as much as it can be important to control the fight early on in this game, we're in a good position. We don't need to make too much noise. At least we know where Warlords are, and they don't know where we are.
I think that's a brilliant control by Fazer Clan, and that is experience right there, not rushing it straight away. Look at them, haven't shot around yet from both teams. And let's look at the center circle as well. We talked about this type of circle ImPERium that it can shift either way. So look at how too easy is holding that position. They're prepared to cross if they need to. Unicorns of Love as well, going towards Bootcamp Hill right now. So these are all positions that these teams can have multiple options, and I like to see it.
Panda? Get an engagement onto 4 Romanian Men. Dexter is knocked down. Malta being choked out by Linia just to try and suppress Sushi a little bit more. Then XT is going to get knocked down onto Ran on the other area. So great plays coming out. However, at the end of the day, Aim is going to be the one that's going to aim. Ready, aim, and fire to get a double knockdown onto the members of Panda. He's going to come in on the off angle. Sushi gets knocked down, so Aim is now the last player on his own. He has to prone down. Covers behind a rock. He's down to about a third health. Using those smokes in his favor for now. First aid kit has been pulled off quite nicely. Now he has to try and backtrack down the lower parts of the hill. He recognizes that grenades are going to fire out in that area, and indeed he does back off quite effectively. He's got to be careful that he doesn't get stabbed from up that hill. Indeed, that is the case. He's going to disengage away, and although it's 0 kills for Romanian Men, I do appreciate what Aim attempted to do.
I think without that side angle, the thirst would just come through so much quicker, right? So with him putting some pressure there and knowing the ridge line, exactly what he has to do, and it pays off. Look at him. He tried to pull up, put some pressure, delayed the thirst, and he also get to retreat in the right time. So Aim, for Romanian Men, has a hard start, I should say. That is also what you have to do just to continue in this game. So well done, Aim.
Sorry, not for Romanian Men. Pain team on the bootcamp hill have allowed ScrimFarm to get a little bit too close to them. It was a knockdown that got pulled off onto Musket of Pain team. So that's given that time for ScrimFarm to push closer up that hill. One of the ScrimFarm players is in the back line across the road, providing that cover fire, which I think is very important as a team looks to push up the hill like that. They do have to be careful, because when you have rocks up that hill, players can not only use it as cover, but they can actually climb up those rocks to get a higher elevated position. So engaging up there is always something you have to throw to a caution.
And that shows why Team Pain would want to hold that position early.
Yeah.
Look at the control around from all. It's a 360 control if they find the right rock, and that's them just pushing ScrimFarm away. As we also see ImPERium, the other circle is now popped, and it's almost concluded, right? The majority will be on the main island, so that means Qodex need to move too easy, made it to that northwestern island's eastern coast early enough, and they can now maybe cross without too much pressure. But look at this congestion in the middle. It's getting worse and worse.
Vic gets a lovely flank to get a knockdown onto one of the ScrimFarm players, but he's going to get third-partied by New Era. Oh man, the boys in purple that just like to get into fights. This is their kind of map, I feel, and they're indeed going to punish one of the Pain Team players. That's what you get for being in the center of the circle. Pain Team, overall, above everything, pretty solid control. Nothing to be sniffed at across the board. As ScrimFarm is going to confirm the loss of Icy off the back of the knockdown on the hack shot. He's going to get revived up. Pain Team have to be careful not to be too spread apart and not get third party by the likes of New Era with the QBU. On reflex on top of that rock is going to take a couple of shots towards Spectre.
ScrimFarm is just waiting for another team to maybe come into the area. This is by no means a good spot for them, just relying on those rocks. Look at that other side. Of course, New Era was trying to third party this. They are rotating away, but Panda is around the area as well. This middle zone is very, very volatile.
Looking over on the other side of boot camp, fight between Unicorns of Love and Qodex. A little bit similar to Pain Team. Unicorns of Love rotated to this hill fairly early in Phase 1 and heading into Phase 2. And they've made it work for now on the Qodex, suppressing the side that won Game 2 quite effectively. But what they might not realize is that Fowler is down at the bottom of the hill, providing that little bit of cover fire. Ked, who, as I said, normally plays on his own, is going to possibly get exposed by Fowler. Fowler taking his time to take those shots. He's just giving the information over. Come on, do something with it. Come on, Fowler. Taking the shots with the QBU. He misses and fluffs all of them. Ked backtracks away on the underside of that hill.
In Ked's position just show how aggressive he is as a player. He's almost disregarding all the potential fire that can come through. Trifecta, as well as any swimmers coming through from that side, and it's just crazy to see. But he is still in here. He hasn't got punished yet. Fowler needs to strike at the right time. But let's not forget the other side, ImPERium. Look at that eastern coast of the northwestern island. Hate Gaming is having a standoff with Too Easy.
Oh, baby. Tika gets dropped down to his knees. Swave with a lovely grenade. Made it work in his favor, but the revive is being pulled off. Reflect is going to go down to the hands of Beast. A lovely mid-range spray with the M4. Making it work for Hate Gaming. They've got to create that momentum. They know two players of Too Easy are in the rock out in the open. It's a lovely spray by Beast just to separate and suppress the members of Too Easy once more. Fox is now pushing a little bit more forward. He's going to take those shots off. This is a well-calculated engagement, but with Beast getting knocked down to his knees, this could be the end of Hate Gaming if they don't rack it back up together. Swave needs to do something. He needs to be that distraction on the coastline of this island. Knockdown on Reflect is yet to get revived up. It is being well protected by Too Easy. They have those buildings in play, and Fox is gonna go down as well as he got too close to the open. And at the end of the day, where the hell is Michi? Why are Hate Gaming go for an engagement onto a team when you're not up as a full squad? You just can't do that, guys. You cannot do that.
And even if Swade had a good position, and they have a position in the circle, like, bear in mind, when teams come through, rotate through boot camp and want to take the coastline, Swave position can be gone as well. But like you said, ImPERium, just he is the IGL. He needs to be in there to keep his eyes open for that. That is not a fight to take. Look at all the grounds that they're trying to run across. Absolutely no cover. One rock. And but that is Mihi coming in to try to redeem the side for Hate Gaming, and that will be a brilliant finish as well. 2v3 on this coastline here.
But you gotta think if Michi had been with his team from the start, that would have been a full Hate Gaming squad, and I really think they could have either won that fight or at least not lost two players for their troubles. But as the next circle does shift on up, it does go towards the majority of the mainland, a little bit of the river, and just the coastline of that northwest island. And Play Agon is going to get dropped to his knees by a little bit of a third party of GSG Europe in still the boot camp compound. So Unicorns Love have to be very careful about that.
And we talked about this position, right? When the angle that Ket took, look at Trifecta right now. Qodex is coming in. So that can be a three-way fight. And this is a time that Unicorns need to be very careful of that. I didn't even know who knocked Agon. And that might be the position of Qodex given away. But this can be a very, very volatile fight. And Unicorns need to know the limits.
Rexpect pushing on top of the hill, playing in a little bit of a similar position that Qodex had before, and Qodex opting to move down towards the Trifecta compounds and then playing on the coastline of that mainland. I think is very sensible compared to trying to take this fight up on the hill of Unicorns of Love. But Rexpect is now going to look for something in that area. The revive got pulled off onto Agon. It's a really solid kind of 2-2 split from Rexpect, because they know that if they stick together as a 2-2, they can get that counter knockoff.
And Qodex will just know how volatile the position was. If they strike a bit earlier, they know it's not just one team, it's not just Unicorn. Respect can shoot at them as well. So I like the discipline there. They rotate it around first with a little bit of more cover, get more information along the next potential rotation path before they find a time to strike. And I really like that one as we see the next circle pop. Oh my god, baby, is a boot camp finish, seems like.
Who's gonna go there with GSG Europe? And right now, in that big center compound, you have GSG Europe as a 1-1-1-1 split. And in my eyes, Tarzan, they need to look to join up as a full squad or 3-1 if they're gonna control boot camp.
I completely agree. That is just knowing all the buildings angle and group at the right time, really. And we also saw that standoff between Team Pain and ScrimFarm, right? They were stuck in that position for such a long time, and now this zone has decided that they need to move. ScrimFarm might be up for some fight. They really need to make this work. They have some upper hand, though. That is one kill onto Team Pain. Team Pain at the duo trying to hold against the breach from the trio from ScrimFarm, maybe.
Oh, great sprays by Agon to get a couple of shots onto Qodex. Rexpect did disengage down the hill, opting to really not go for that fight based off that circle shift. But the thing is, did they kind of leave it a little bit too late? Because Qodex is now going to sandwich them up along with Unicorns of Love. We'll have to wait and see as the repositioning coming on through. A lot of smokes being utilized, followed by grenades to try and push back the members of Qodex. Rexpect might be pinched a little bit too heavily inside this Sanhok Phase 4. We'll have to wait and see. Good thing is that Phase 4 doesn't provide too much blue zone tick damage, so they can kind of wait in the wings of the blue zone for a little bit before this next circle shows up.
Is a very, very valid point. I think it's particularly useful for teams like Panda or Fazer Clan, that especially Arcred as well, held outside of the circle. If they come in at the predictable time with the blue, they can get taken down easily. So might as well relocate those resources, find a time to enter when the teams are least expecting you.
Lovely play in the rocks of the coastline cliffside with Qodex pushing in, getting 2 knocks, 1 confirmed kill, but in the back line, Caster, like I said, opting to play inside that blue zone for a little bit, is going to come in and get a kill onto one of the Qodex players. So now it's going to be 2 against 2 because Exari did Axakira, I think that's how it's pronounced, they get knocked down by Hate Gaming further away. So great play by Rexpect above everything else, but they are now just down to Caster because a little bit of a third party took down their second last player.
And Unicorns of Love will hold that position strong, forcing Rexpect to rotate around. Qodex was in position to punish that. You know, what do we know about rotating around? Look at Hate Gaming, look at Swave, and he just rotating around now, gatekeeping too easy. But look at all this cluster of teams still there on top of boot camp, and look at that new circle. Look at that.
Oh, baby, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Baby, don't hurt me no more, because my lord, this boot camp finish is going to hurt a hell of a lot of these teams. New Era are going to push on in. They're breaching in on towards the members of GSG Europe as they look to pan on over. UBL is going to get a lovely clean knockdown inside the warehouses, but there is that last player of GSG Europe, Kamara, on the other warehouse, looking to fire on through. I do believe have another team inside boot camp as well. That is indeed Arcred, Scorpion. I don't know if he's the last player. Panda coming in from the warehouses down below. Kamara is going to get taken out. Leve is now the last player up for GSG Europe in the pincer center buildings. Panda make their way across quite effectively. 2 players pushing on in, but Scorpion with the Thompson, the Tommy gun fires on through. He gets his second knockdown, but in the end it isn't enough. He gets suppressed, he gets taken out, and this is boot camp, baby.
14 teams, that is boot camp indeed. Oh my god, GSG, they had this start in boot camp, they have an end. When did they learn? When will they learn to group up at the same right time? That is them down to 1 player, and teams are still flooding in.
Warlords going up against Fazer Clan, and Warlords are going to lose that one. Fazer Clan survived to tell the tale. Hate Gaming are going to get taken out by Qodex, and we are down to... Oh my lord, god damn it, this is crazy. We also lose another player, Pain. The circle does actually shift away from the majority of the boot camp, but there is still a couple of strong areas, most notably that one warehouse in the center of this Phase 6, which is available for the taking.
Just look at that new circle. Oh my lord. Just look at this, so brutal. It's not even in the main bits. It's not with levels. It's that big warehouse and just all these small barriers around. That is going to be a crazy one as we see the side of Unicorns actually making some way into here. A lot of players still trying to tank the blue on the outside.
Oh my god. UBL gets caught out the snake in the grass. The solo player, but 50-51 is going to come in, get revenge, and is going to take out the final player of GSG Europe while the revive gets pulled off. Fazer Clan also doing great work on that compound outside boot camp in the corner area as a 3-man team. Unicorns Alive have just Fresh and Savage X left standing. They're not quite in the circle as they look to move away from those buildings. They are going to be out in the open and they don't have too far to go. Qodex along with Panda and New Era playing in the center building of boot camp as they look to try and find a way inside this phase 6 circle as the blue zone is hitting the floor. We have grenades being fired on up between multiple teams.
This is the patience right here. They don't want to cross that road. The second they cross, they will get hit, and that's why they're all staying there. 3 teams in that main building. Unicorns of Life may be able to get in that action from the side, and Fazer Clan watching like a hawk from the other side.
Fazer Clan, in my eyes, could actually win this because they've been able to enter across the way in towards the warehouse area all on their lonesome. Caster from Rexpect was the last player up for a side, dies to the blue zone. New Era have been able to send 50-51 across the way into the warehouse. Now it's UBL following suit. So they have made it into the warehouse, that golden warehouse that's inside the circle. But there is plenty of windows and door openings for you to get swiped out. So you got to be very careful.
I can't believe New Era crossed there without getting shot at, and they're now in the center. But what good will that do? Teams will just flow in. Look at Qodex making a...
Oh boy. Panda still up as a 3-man team, but they're in the corner as the blue zone is closing in. A phase 7 Unicorns Alive are also playing relatively passive with Fresh and Savage X left standing. Fresh firing up with that AKM. We see Katu getting a knockdown onto one of the players of New Era. And now down below, 2 players of Qodex are going to be on the ground side of this gutter strip. 50-51 is still coming on strong inside the corner of this warehouse. A fight is breaking out. Savage X goes down, followed by Fresh. That's going to be the end of Unicorns Alive. Our final 5 teams firing up. 50-51 now on the outside of the warehouse. Finds Jizu very calmly countered on up, and now he gets a pre-fire shot off. But Susie comes in with the backside with the third party. And that's going to be the end of New Era. Qodex, Panda, Fazer Clan, and the last remaining player of Arcred inside this game.
Just healing on the outside. It can work. They can get like a good placement out healing teams. But look at this. It might be Panda's game. They just need to know every absolute angle, and with the absolute patience as well. Audio cues. Every movement matters right now.
Panda inside the warehouse. Qodex playing by the gutter fields. Fazer. 1-1 split pre-pod and Susie's down by the grass, but he's prone down, utilizing the side of waiting out for the final storm to pass on through the footsteps you talked about, and that's going to be pre-pod getting the knock, getting the kill, and Fazer Clan are playing exceedingly well on the outside of the warehouse, covering either side quite effectively. And now Qodex has an Axitara along with Fowler, so it's 2v2v2 in the final moments of this Sanhok game. In amongst the blue, he takes a risk, and it works out. GK first with the big brain play, gets a knockdown on the Fowler, but can they do anything with that? I don't quite think so. 12 seconds until phase 9 is going to fire on through. I don't know if it's worth going for the revive in Fowler, because with the speed of the blue zone, with all of the craziness, I don't know if it's going to work out in time. Prepod is going to have to open the door, and he's going to have to peekaboo ICU in a matter of seconds as this phase 9 is closing on in. 2v2v2 still follows on through between these final 3 teams. Fowler plays his way behind this little bit of a player, little bit of a container. Fowler is going to fire on through. Susie is going to get a knockdown. Susie working wonders for his side as he's the last player for Fazer Clan in a 1v1. He's gonna come on through. Fowler fires up, and it is the side of Qodex to claim their second chicken dinner of the night in Sanhok.
Oh my god, it was literally TDM right there in the end.
Stop.
Can't expect more. A boot camp finish with that type of circle. How many teams was in that last bit? Oh my god. And that is just exactly what we want to see. And Qodex showing up once again as well. Maybe taking away that top spot away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would guarantee it. I know Rexpect finished seventh, but they only got one kill, and it's only realistically been one good performance out of 3 for themselves tonight. So I can firmly say Qodex have overtaken the top spot. Fair play to Fazer Clan, though, with his second place finish is not to be sniffed at. Getting 11 kills as well along the way. Really good indeed. Panda in third with 8 kills. You have Arcred in fourth. You talked about the healing. It paid off. It wasn't like, you know, the top 3 that he was hoping, but still to be fourth place is a pretty chunky amount of points.
It's 10 points there with two kill points, and double digit is the average that we want. So if you don't have an upper hand, you come in losing some players early. That is to be happy about.
110%. New Era in fifth, getting 6 kills. Unicorns of Love just about missing the mark in 6th place with 2 kills. You know, it looked quite strong for them, but I don't know whether it's maybe getting a little bit tunnel vision, just being a victim of some of those circles, or maybe actually being a little bit too passive. I don't know what it was, but just Unicorns of Love not finding the magic unicorn in that Sanhok game. 6th place is definitely, you know, solid, and it kind of follows a little bit more of a consistent set of games tonight for them. Rexpect in 7th with 1 kill. 4 Romanian Men. Lakonostra in 8th with 0 kills. Lakonostra Power in 9th with 2 kills. GSG Europe in 10th with 1 kill. Too Easy in 11th with 3 kills. Pain team in 12th with 4 kills. Hate Gaming in 13th with 3 kills. Warlords in 14th with 0 kills. And ScrimFarm in 15th with 1 kill. That was definitely a very, very interesting Sanhok game.
Something different for sure. Is not the type of sometimes open field where you have to all prone. So this is definitely different, and the time that you practice in TDMs, 1v1s, this is the time to show it, baby.
110%. Oh man, we're going to be going into our 4th game, to be fair. Like, this is pretty good. It's the final game of the evening. We are going back to the hollow grounds of Erangel, to say the least. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I also got to give shout out to New Era, because, you know, although they're sometimes not helping themselves, whether it's only playing as a 3-man team or taking risks, the way they play, which is somewhat like balls to the wall, it just, you know, it gets my respect because they make it work most of the time. I would prefer if they maybe, you know, at times played a little bit more settled, but it's damn entertaining from what I'm seeing from them.
That's true. That's true. Just see how they can do next game, and it all comes down to, we are talking about how it's just, oh, it's the 1 or 2 day in. This is getting real, baby. We've got one more game tonight, and that is last game tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one more game tonight, and we'll be 3/4 of the way through, and then after that, yeah, as you said, we have our final 4 games tomorrow. I do wish I knew the overall standings, to be honest, but you know, it is what it is. Nothing we can do about that. I'm very excited to see who's being the mover and shakers after tonight's game. And to be fair, who is going to end on a high note, because I think it is going to be quite important as much as possible for all of these teams, whether you're fighting for the top 3 or not, to end an evening on a high note. Because if you end tonight's games on a high note, you know, especially if you've had a run of bad games, not only does it make you feel a bit better, but it also gives you a bit more confidence going into tomorrow's games.
Exactly. Oh, or even if it doesn't, Imperium, we see how Hate Gaming could have done it after day one, right? So there is a way if there is a will, and this is the time to show. Very, very close. 2 days, Imperial. I can't wait for this new season. This is optimal practice for you all who's watching, who may play. This is what we should aim for. This is top tier play. We're all practicing, learn from each other.
Yep.
Nonetheless, have loads of fun. Have loads of fun, everyone. Don't ever forget that.
And agree with you more. So on the note, we'll go for a break, but we'll be back on your screens for the final game of the day in about 3 minutes. Welcome back to the final game of the evening here in the ImPERium x Hate Finals. €500 prize pool. This is day 3 and we've had some banger games. 2 games won by Qodex and 1 won by... Oh damn, was it Fazer Clan that won game 1? Tarzan?
Game one, I have to think. It slipped my mind as well. I'm so sorry.
I always rely on my co-caster to remember. I'm so bad. You're letting me down. You're letting me down.
I will improve for you and for everyone. We learn as we go, as we have this last game for us to redeem ourselves as well. Bear with us. 15 teams, 3 trios, ImPERium. Those trios are Qodex, New Era, and GSG Europe, with this playing path going from Novo to Severny. So, yes, that pretty eastern path, once again, should be pretty empty on the western side, but we see that priority ImPERium. A lot of these teams like going to the western side. So what will they do this time? Will that be that same plan? Will they go? And of course, it will come down to that phase 1 circle.
Seems like Unicorns of Love are opting to actually drop down by Military Island and then probably grab a couple of vehicles and make their way over the western bridge to Gaka. That's what I would guess they're going to do. Too easy going straight for a military base. Rexpect going for Novo to be expected. Pain, Milta, Warlords, Milta Power. Lakonostra will go for Lipovka. This is all pretty standard stuff across the board. I think the phase 1 circle is probably going to be the biggest indication of how these teams are going to look to set themselves up, obviously.
Yes, and by the looks of it, Unicorns want to drop on that southern island. That's a good spot to grab a car.
It is.
If that is the case, they will still go for Gatka. I won't be surprised if they do that same for New Era. On that northern part of the map right now, may still go for Georgia Pool. That looks like Panda, for the first time in forever, will make that adaptation. They will go for a farm drop.
Yeah, I like that. It's a pretty good spread across farm as well, if I do say so myself. They're covering a lot of compounds in such a, you know, as individual players. But we do see phase 1 popping up, and wow, this is such a good phase 1 circle. It's pretty much dead center of the map, Tarzan.
It will give also for those teams who really still dedicate to go to that western side, the confirmation, right? The assurance to say, yes, we can go there. It can still be quite open. And look at these teams just dropping as basically their usual spots. And that is a very strong indication. If you ever clash into each other in PMCO, guys, that is some information very valuable for you to work some tactics off.
So when we're looking into this phase 1, I know it's, you know, obviously fairly early into the phase, but what kind of positions or areas of this phase 1 do you think are probably going to be the strongest for the teams to hold on to?
I think Potato Hill is a good one, as well as that, you know, for Romanian Men's like position. Of course, it's not quite south, but if those teams are worried about breaching through Potato Hill, they can get funneled down to the southern side. And those hills around for Romanian Men's position, a very good one to overlook towards the open fields to the south and southwestern side of Pachinki as well. So they can do quite a few things there. But of course, with that playing path, with the tendencies of the team, they can play north for a pretty slow phase 1 as well.
Hate Gaming, hold on to Rozhok. Pretty solid spot for them to hold on to. But what they could do with that drop spot and with the position that they hold on to into phase 1 is that they could look to go for a little bit of an early rotation as a 1 or 2 man team and go towards the Headshot Hills compound. The reason why I think that's really valuable is 1, because on this kind of circle, you don't necessarily need to worry about what's going on to the western side of that area, especially because of the playing path. And 2, the Headshot Hills compound, it gives great sightlines on any teams that are to the eastern side of that compound, whether it's school, apartments, or otherwise.
I think it's very, very true. So, like Ruins, Headshot Hills area is also very key to prepare yourself for the next shift, right? If it goes north, that is a position where you can stop the rotations coming through those bridges, and that will be, you're exactly right, ImPERium. I can't say I've changed my mind, but that Headshot Hill will be very, very important to dictate the pace of the mid game of this game for tonight.
For Arcred dropping in Yasnaya, what I'd actually like to see them pull off is a north of the river rotation, and actually for phase 1 just perch themselves on pretty much on top of the hill that overlooks the entrance of Roshawk, because it's still a relatively safe position, and it's not too far away from the edge of the river where they're not, you know, gonna find it hard to enter in should phase 2 shift down south.
You know what I think it would be very interesting, ImPERium? It will be Rexpect Esports. Position. They don't have a spot in the circle, but how would they cross into the main island? They know Too Easy might go for that western bridge. So if they charge towards that and Too Easy wants to gatekeep them, it can be very damaging. But if they go towards that eastern bridge, well, we know the playing path is on that side. So just really want to see how they pull this off, how they dictate the pace of that rotation, how they scout, etc.
Pain team doing a great job of pushing back ScrimFarm and creating a real solid space on the southeastern side of this map outside Milta, moving in. Possibly could have gone for that rotation a little bit earlier, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, job is done in that area and have sent ScrimFarm much closer to a couple of other teams up the hill from farm. Panda are still not together as much as I would like to see them, considering this phase 1 circle and where they found themselves dropping on up. They have themselves separated as Rana for Romanian Men is on his own, trying to get a little bit of information for the rest of his team.
And that is Rana trying to hold a position on that potato hill. And that might be just the next fight breaking up. Katao is on here as well. He thought the rest of both teams are now funneling into the area.
I think what's important for Panda is genuinely that they do look to join up as a full squad, especially if they're in any way, shape, or form going to look to control Potato Hill. Now, the 4 Romanian Men army are going to push up with their teammate Rana, using that information that Rana was able to gather to position himself safely across his area. But GK the first is going to be the first to get a knockdown on the aim. So great job from him, but he will have to look to reposition.
And that is not the only fight that's happening. Look at this eastern side. Warlords lost Team Pain in position to stop these rotations on that southeastern side, around that shelter area. Very strong if you have the upper hand. And that is it. And so 2 fights happening at the same time. And they are going to make some action on this side on Potato Hill. Panda trying to make a move is going to be a crazy one.
Lovely by Inya. Close quarter with the DP28 as well. Lovely drop shot coming on through. Sushi is going to get dropped to his knees. So Aim is now left on his own. Actually, no, Rana is going to get dropped. So it is Aim indeed on his own. But with that 3P comes on through, it is Linya who's going to end the dreams of 4 Romanian Men. And I have to say, 4 Romanian Men have had a pretty disastrous day.
Not just today, the past 2 days as well. ImPERium, I know what they can do, but this is just the time to really know how to... League format as well. You meet the same players, same teams. That has to be some sort of tactics and way to get out of that situation.
Oh man, Warlords, you talked about them going up against Pain Team earlier on, and indeed the fight is still continuing. Vic on the roof of that building is able to get a lovely clean knockdown onto Dale. But in the sniper tower, teammate Backfire is going to look to get the revive off, but at the end of the day, time being given over to Pain Team. Up the hill, Musket pushes in, gets a knockdown onto Dale. Even though he got knocked down, his teammate Reflex sealed the deal, and is another kill in the favor of Pain Team. 5 for the early parts of this game.
And we have our next circle as well. It will center over the last circle, and the middle being still around that school Rozhok area. Still a lot of potential. ImPERium, it can still hard shift towards the north, but look at that. No team wants to play to north of the river right now. Arcred Gaming's position though, they are ready. They
I don't
are
mind
ready
it.
for that northern shift, and we don't mind it. And it's just
No.
going to show how important Headshot Valley is, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
In this type of mid game, that control important.
Like, the thing I don't like about Arcred's position is it doesn't give them enough information on the
True.
kind of southwestern side of Rozhok. That's kind of my fear, is that I like it as a good position away from Yasnaya, and it's a great position in terms of preparing for northern shift, but I just don't think it provides them with enough information should phase 2 shift down to southwest. That's my one fear.
I think that's completely valid, and that is one thing. Like your splits need to be very tactical. Seems like they could make a bigger split to scout further, but that is hard to say. Like we always have to think about defensive angles, cover fire, etc. Hate Gaming just comfortably in Rozhok right now, and look at all these team funneling in. Look at, of course, Panda still in the area, strong. Look at Rexpect. They have rotated through that eastern bridge and now on the face of Team Pain.
Phase 2 does pop up. Centers quite nicely. Actually shifts more down to southeast more than anything. So it does open up farm to a far more viable area to hold on to. You have the fields of Yasnaya still in play as well. So a lot of teams who had occupied the kind of northwestern side of this phase 1 will have to reposition fairly swiftly.
I like what Hate Gaming and Arc is trying to do. They're trying to contest those compartments. Is now, especially that J compound. In this circle, if they have the priority, they can just shoot down so many rotating teams. And as well as Arc's position, they can, with that set of compound, have an overlook over the Yasnaya field. So that will be for them to contest right now, both teams in the area.
Yeah, really good stuff indeed. Unicorns Love also made their way across Headshot Hills to the compound that's just a little bit down the south of Fazer Clan for now. They could opt to go around the north of Pachinki for that rotation, or even down the south of Pachinki if they really wanted to go a little bit wild. Good rotation from GSG Europe as well, coming in via the northeastern side of the circle. They're gonna send Rafik towards that dip, which I think is a valuable dip to kind of hold on to in this kind of circle. But as he grabs a little bit of information, Rexpect, a little bit close by to them, are going to reposition further into the circle, going ahead, likes of Painting.
There's Rexpect trying to rotate through that, and that can enter the area that we were talking about. Can be very open, can be very punishable, and ScrimFarm trying to rotate around there as well. This congestion around the school area, the next shift will make it very, very messy, I think, and but we need to see how that comes through in a bit.
Nobody's going for the farm area as well, down to essentially from Potato Hill southwards, and I do kind of get that because, you know, similar to what I point out with Arcred, you get little to no information past, you know, the start of Potato Hill, so I do kind of get that, but for a bit of a solid phase 2 rotation, I thought more teams might go down towards that area, but it is what it is. We still have 13 teams, 47 players left alive as the Blue Zone of phase 2 is about to start moving in the next 30 seconds.
Well, the team's got a good spot in the circle, and I was just watching Rafik trying to maneuver his car there. We'll eventually find a spot for GSG Europe there, a compound for the trio that will be much needed for them, center zone, and will also hold it down for now. Too easy, though. One of the teams that didn't go for anywhere to center as they got pushed away from what I saw earlier from Potato Hill by Panda.
Yeah, and hey, look, you know, that's all the power to Too Easy, and actually all the power to decide the Panda, just respecting each other in that regard. Panda with a little bit of a 2-2 split on Potato Hill, I think is very strong for them to hold on to. It is a kind of hill that is so vast that it is really hard to control. And similar to Everest, sometimes you're better off just trying to control one small area rather than the whole thing and be too spread out. So that 2-2 split is at least an initial strong point, and then they can react depending on who goes near them and the phase 3 shift.
I'm gonna pinch your brain right here.
Yeah.
Look at the Era's position. What I know it's not we're close to center, but I think it's some sort of conservative play, patient play for them to respect the teams that might be setting up some traps close to Rozhok Hill area and Hedgehog Valley, and that can also get them some priority if it goes for a northern shift. So although it doesn't look like the center, but I think it's a good spot. It's a good scouting spot as well.
It really is. It's a solid spot for them to hold on to. It gives them great entry point if they want to go onto Rozhok Hill, which you actually seem to be kind of rotating towards. Unicorns a lot were around the Hedgehog Valley, but they push in pretty early on the phase 2 shift. Like I had pointed out a little bit ago, it's a bit of a stalemate across the board. We are seeing that level of respect off the back of what has been 2 fairly solid circle shifts.
So just really need to come down to this one, which should happen in around 20 seconds, and then we will probably see a lot of crazy action. I think Too Easy is betting on a shift towards them. Otherwise, they can get some wide rotations, but the circle is about to reveal itself. Oh my god.
Oh man, that is a hard shift, Tarzan.
And suddenly, New Era got the center. They've got Rozhok Hill. They've got Overlook over at Hedgehog Valley. Look at UBL. They're taking a high ground from Watertown as well. Is that high tower that we're talking about? We don't know, but let's not talk too long, because look at those teams just funneling from the eastern side.
Hate Gaming going back to where they dropped. In Rozhok, Arcred are going to go towards Rozhok, but not quite, which makes sense. They're going to go on the eastern side of Rozhok. You have Qodex going to school, which I think kind of makes sense, and it's a much better choice than apartments, I'd tell you that much. Rexpect are just going to full send it a little bit close to the side of ScrimFarm, but they're going in blind, and ScrimFarm might be ready to punish them for that. Bardo's going to hit a rock. He has to stop away. He's going to take the shots off his teammates. Should be hopefully following suit and make a little bit of a spread. Indeed, Fowler actually gets a bit of a third-party knockdown on the hack shot. As a respite comes on through, Rexpect might be able to do something with that, as I saw it in their kill feed. This is what a little bit of a hard shift does for a number of these teams. It forces some wild rotations, some third-party actions, and a couple of knockdowns that might not usually happen.
A lot of areas in Hedgehog Hill still up for grabs, but it's just hard to go in. Look at Clans and Panda's location. We play this game enough. We know how strong those spots are. And look at Caster as well, just retreating away from his team, knowing that he is on a scouting duty. We need to find a better spot for that. But look at this fight breaking up right here.
Oh, Unicorns of Love moved away from their compound that Panda was then allowed to take over, which is pretty good. But Unicorns of Love very controlling on Headshot Hills. They didn't quite get to that Headshot Hills compound. Too Easy have lost at least one player off the back of that rotation from the southwest side. Unicorns of Love still up as a full squad. You do have one player of Rexpect Caster moving on closer, looking for a little bit of information. He's on his own, though, so that's something he has to think about. Grenade being cooked up. I don't think Unicorns of Love are fully aware that he's there. Now they are definitely going to be aware as a grenade is being fired up. Nope, they definitely know where he is because they did chuck a grenade towards that area. They must have heard the buggy. Fresh is going to flank around on the side, so it's a lovely spread. But now the rest of the Rexpect cavalry has arrived. The Spanish Inquisition have fired on suit. Nacho gets chunked down to a sliver of health for that reposition.
That's what I was talking about. Caster not too tunneled onto that fight earlier between ScrimFarm. They get a new spot, that's why they can get into here, but he gets punished for his position, and they were just seems to be fragging this out. Rexpect. Round 2, they had that on the last Erangel map. They are here to continue that same battle.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a third party from Panda, but luckily for them, I believe it was New Era, that third party Panda. So that's kind of allowed their revive to pull off onto Caster quite effectively. So still a full 4v4 fight. It's a lot of utility is being utilized by both teams. Ked on the off angle does what Ked does best and gets a knockdown, confers that kill onto Nacho. No prisoners, no mercy. As Unicorns will are going to look to take that man advantage and push on forward, because they know not only are they outside the circle, but they have to be controlling on the edge in this engagement, because you don't want to leave it too late. In through the boogie, the push comes on out, and Caster is going to reposition away, but he's going to be put down to sliver of health. Agon comes in. He's going to get that knockdown. Poppy and Bardo, what are they going to be able to do? I don't know if they can even do much, as Ked beats a front four, a full front facing man for Unicorns of Love, as Bardo is the last shining hope for the side of Rexpect. It could be a little bit of a misery-filled end of the day for Rexpect if they get taken out in 13th. But Unicorns of Love, they're not finishing it off just that quickly, because they are not getting tunnel vision. They're aware that a number of teams could be wrapping around them.
And that was also Team Pain taking that time when Unicorns are fighting Respect, just driving it, cruising through. Now got a prime spot in that headshot valley. And that was Unicorns just needing to wrap up fight quick. Now they've lost their priority. They need to wrap this up and move. Too easy wrapped around them as well in the very strong spot in Watertown.
I like the fact that Unicorns of Love didn't get tunnel vision, but the fact that they didn't close out that team fight is definitely a little bit worrisome, because Barno can be a thorn in the side. We'll have to wait and see how it works out for them. Fresh is still outside the circle in that backline high ground position, which I'm definitely a fan of. Could hopefully find a bit of an off-angle shot onto Too Easy, despite them being in Watertown, as Bardo indeed does knock down Algon. That's what I talked about with the thorn in the side. Play as Bardo is going to keep on striking, keep on fighting. It is just a Panda that gets the third party knockdown onto Ked, and it's all going horribly wrong for Unicorns of Love. They're just down to Savage and Fresh.
The topic of tunnel vision, it repeats and repeats itself. Look at Bother just holding that one with the help from Panda as well. Panda's just been watching this. Unicorns have to know better. They had to.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a mistake, because when they pushed in onto the side of Rexpect earlier on, it was the right call to do, because of the fact that it was still only just on phase 4, but because they didn't close it out, they paid the price. Fresh just joined up with Savage as phase 4 does shift on up, and we move to phase 5, which does center towards Headshot Hills. Oh, baby! This is looking to be a Headshot Hills finish.
Is going to be crazy. Team Pain in position to farm this, but the problem is, if all the teams come in at the same time, they can't fight them all out. There's now New Era sending it in, and Vic is ready. Look at this little bit of a trap, just using their car as cover. Doesn't have the high ground. They may not have as good as a position as we thought.
Lakonostra and Qodex are fighting, I think, on the eastern side of the circle, outside of it, I might add. So they have to try and make a push, as it's only 1 minute and 10 seconds left until the blue zone starts closing in. Qodex are feeling the brunt of having to move away from school out into the open loving arms of a number of teams. I like the fact that Pika of Lakonostra is doing what he can to push himself in and secure a little bit of his spot inside the circle, as well as grab some information. Hackshot is going to go down as New Era continue to push their way in on the northern side of the circle. Too Easy takes down ScrimFarm, Unique, and that's going to be the end of Rexpect at the hands of Panda.
Hey, Gaming was slowed down, but they actually outlived ScrimFarm next to them. No one wants to take this spot right now. Don't want to be looked at by multiple teams. Look at Panda now actually taking a somewhat better position than the Unicorns, wrapping around, stopping their movement right now.
They did get third-partied by Too Easy. So the third-partier has become the third-partied. Susie comes in, gets a knockdown onto Levy of GSG Europe. Linia repositions with that UAS, along with K2. Panda are still up as a full squad. That's very important for their late game around this open area of Headshot Hills. Pika confirms that kill onto Levy, taking that kill away of Fazer Clan, as Rafik and GSG Europe definitely not having a good run of things. Panda still playing on in. They're looking for the engagement onto Unicorns of Love. It's 4 against 2. What can Fresh and Savage X do?
Oh my god, look at all these teams trying to funnel in. Too easy, using the spot for punish the teams rotating, but they don't have a good spot. That's them trying to rotate. They were trying to gatekeep. Now they may get gate kept.
Fazer Clan looking to punish a broken, beaten star, Lakonostra Power. Lakonostra Power, this is their, in my opinion, probably the best game so far they've had tonight, but it's not over just yet. Danny gets confirmed down. Pika was revived up, so there's still at least a 3-man team, but as it's all flat terrain around them, they just have those 4 vehicles. The peak knock comes on through by Qodex of Fazer Clan. They're a little bit afraid to push it because not only is the circle nowhere near where Lakonostra are, but also Fazer Clan need to think about finding some kind of position inside this circle of phase 6.
Look at this phase 6 circle, ImPERium. That's so brutal. No team wants to even touch it because it's so open. The limited amount of terrains and covers in there. Some dips, some trees, and that's it. And that is Panda waiting to strike as well as they knock off some of the unicorns right on that southwestern side.
Nobody is inside the circle. None of these final 5 teams are inside the circle. Shots are being fired up. Jizu, along with the rest of the Fazer Clan team, looking to take down the final 2 players of Lakonostra Power, but Lakonostra Power have more heart in their bodies that they are going to fight until the bitter end. Fazer Clan need to think about their pushing in into the circle, followed up by Arcred. The smokes are being fired up. Panda helps to take down Too Easy, so that's going to leave Panda holding on to the western side of this phase 6, but it's out in the open. Susie gets knocked down at the hands of Panda. This is incredibly good control from Panda, holding on to this final 4 position.
But what's next? They didn't have the next circle. They have a lot of momentum though. Kills and up right now, and the Pika from Lakonostra slowly beating, so probably a 4v3 very soon, and that will be the case. Panda needs to make a move.
Pika goes down. We're into our final 3 teams. It's 3v3. There you go. I got that right. Linia is going to push on forward. The thing is, I don't know if Panda know they in theory have the man advantage, but if they're sandwiched up by the 2 remaining teams, that is going to be the third party central going against them if they're not careful. As Qodex with that grenade confirms that knock, and the kill comes on through onto Linia, so now it's a clean 3v3. There's a golden goose of a drop in the center of this circle. Arcred are just on the edge of the north with Puchek. It's Fazer Clan that controls this phase 7. 10 seconds until this blue zone starts closing in. Pre-pot in the front line. Jizu onto Koteka. That's really good for Fazer Clan as they are looking for 2 of the 3 members left from Panda. K2 is going to get dropped down. Arcred was actually the one to get that knockdown as a little bit of an off-angle third party comes on through. GK, the first prone and snaking down out in the open. Pro pod finds K2. Could the thorn in the side of GK, the first affect Fazer Clan's push to close out this chicken dinner? I don't think it's going to be the case because Mandarin YouTube is knocked down. Puchok is left on his own. It's 3 against 1 as we see another controlling finish of a game inside our angle for the final game of the evening. Qodex is thrown down with the sweet corn skin. He's gonna find GK the first, and now it is 1v1 off the back of a double knock. inside the crate. I said it was a golden goose of a crate, and it is going to be Puchak that's going to use it for his benefit. But now he pushes off a first aid. He confirms Jizu. That was risky, but now as he reloads, the jump shot comes in, and it is Arcred. It is Puchak, and it is the chicken dinner flying on through for Arcred.
Huge night for Arcred. Just back to this. They've got what? Like, they've got second place, 2nd place maybe, and that was just
wow.
Patience there, just waiting for that time to strike, and they split up. That was the final phases as well. They split up a little bit. They split the bets, and it worked out for them. ImPERium.
Man, so good by Arcred. Was it a throw from Fazer Clan? Because I don't know exactly what happened, because I was kind of looking on towards Koze. Was it Penchik that got the double knockdown onto 2 of the Fazer Clan players?
Well, so I thought like Panda put some work in as well. So that was, I think, okay. First off, I think Fazer Clan played the second last circle very well. The split was good. They dedicated onto each side to get maximum damage. That's how we end up with a 3v1v1. But the last bit there, you just need some patience. You need to know absolute limits of those ridges there. But they just gave it away. They found those brilliant the enemies got the brilliant angles, putting themselves in that situation. That was a bit hard to watch.
Potenchik, though, using that golden goose of a crate in the middle area of the final couple of circles, and in the end they made it work for his side. Fazer Clan, despite not claiming the chicken dinner, it was a very impressive game from them, controlling the majority of that late game very effectively. The kill count speaks for itself, getting 12 kills. And then Panda, also very impressed with them getting 14 kills in 3rd place. Because of the open-ended finish, it was always going to be, in my eyes, a little bit of a kill frenzy for the top 3 teams, because it drastically shuts down to Lakonostra getting 1 kill in 4th, right? With the top 3 teams getting over double digits for each of them.
We've got like 57 players in this game, ImPERium. The top 3 teams got 37 kills. Quick math there.
Wow.
Don't mind me. 37 kills from the top 3 teams.
Wow.
And we can see how that can cause a huge swing on that leaderboard. Huge string.
Wow.
So we are just waiting for those results. And of course, we have another day. And of course, we will show those results tomorrow if you're not on the relevant service to see that. And I'm just waiting, very excited to see the standings right now.
Man, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. But of course, to close out, giving you the finishing positions of this final game, as you saw, Arcred taking 1st place with 11 kills. You had Fazer Clan in 2nd, taking a grand total of 12 kills. Panda in 3rd with 14 kills. Lakonostra in 4th with 1 kill. Too Easy in 5th with 0 kills. Unicorns of Love in 6th place. Again, just, it's like they're kind of there, but they're not there. With 4 kills. You had New Era in 7th with 2 kills. You had Pain Team in 8th with 5 kills. Hate Gaming in 9th with 0 kills. Qodex in 10th with 0 kills. GSG Europe in 11th with 0 kills. Rexpect in 12th with 1 kill. ScrimFarm in 13th with 0 kills. Warlords in 14th with 1 kill. And 4 Romanian Men in 15th with 0 kills. Man, what a hell of a day we saw in front of us. Some absolutely groundbreaking performances in my eyes for this finals, and we will see a huge shake-up. Qodex getting 2 chicken dinners for tonight's games as well, which really helped them considering they were starting today in 2nd place, and Rexpect really not having a good run of things. Professor Tarzan, what's your kind of thoughts coming into tomorrow's final day?
It's going to be really, really volatile. Obviously, I mentioned how Hate Gaming can come back after like a 4-point day, right? But we also see Fazer Clan. Let's not forget about them. They were pretty high up there. And with this type of finish, when they were put into that middle mix through the night, but to have
Yeah.
such a strong showing in the last game, that is also the momentum that they may need to even go further tomorrow. Because let's look at this. Where is Qodex, by the way? They didn't. So, of course, they've got 2 chicken dinner, right? But they ended
Yep.
tonight with the 10th place, no kills. Fazer Clan
Fair.
around the similar area, but has a second place with 12 kills. So who has the upper hand? We will find out tomorrow.
So on that note, on that bombshell, I'm going to end the stream for today. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much to all these teams for participating. All you guys for tuning in, throwing your support for your respective teams. We'll see you guys, myself and Professor Tarzan, same time tomorrow for the final day of the ImPERium X Hate League. €500 will be secured across a number of these teams. Join us. Find out who.
Want to learn